Hello everyone, subscribe to my channel to not miss new trending manhwa.
A red-eyed girl appears, whispering his full name, Inori. Her crimson-nailed hand tenderly lifts his chin, bubbles floating by. She looms over him, her dark dress torn, in an otherworldly void. He stares back, confused, thoughts racing. The girl, who is she? Nori looks down, a stark, bloody gash on his chest, the ornate dagger somehow in his grasp. She now holds that very dagger, crying, as he wonders, did she stab me? And she knows my name. Abruptly, a teacher sobs dramatically about a war in another world. The scene shifts to a normal school day. Classmates laughing and joking. Takafudji Inori, 17, is shown, his expression one of pure shock. He surveys the ordinary classroom, wondering if it was all just a nightmare. The teacher's dramatic tale of another world seemed like just another Tuesday. But Nori's eyes widen. This day was about to be anything but ordinary. Suddenly, glowing purple circles erupted, lifting students from their desks. Even the teachers screamed, caught in a blinding, magical flash. Nori, too, was enveloped, his body caught in the strange, sparkling energy. He stumbled, dazed, desperately trying to understand what was happening. Then, a blinding light, and they found themselves in a vast, empty wasteland. Nori's mind raced. Just moments ago, he was in his familiar classroom. Panic spread as students realized their school had vanished into thin air. While others screamed in terror, Nori silently surveyed the bizarre new reality. A radiant woman in a flowing gown descends, urging, everyone, please calm down. She reveals this is the Path of Souls, a place called the Gap of the World. And they know her as a goddess, leaving Nori and his classmates utterly stunned. The goddess announces their summoning to another world, students scattered below her. Their purpose, she declares, is to become heroes and defeat the Demon King. Students murmur in disbelief, one exclaiming, heroes. She explains their souls will soon reach the otherworld Burj and the Empire of Hygen. Nori stares up at the floating goddess, muttering, summoned. As confusion ripples through the group, he clenches his fist, thinking it's like a novel, as the goddess warns their time here is short. The goddess smiles, extending her hand, so, before that, I will give each of you a gift. The goddess bestows upon them special abilities suited for the new world. She warns Nori to use his power wisely and lead the people. With a wish of good luck, the scene shifts to a grand castle in Burj. Their vision blurs, then clears as they arrive in the new world. Students materialize in a vast hall before a panting, robed figure who succeeded in summoning them. Officials cheer the saint's success, heralding the hero's arrival. Until a stern voice commands silence. A majestic king on his throne gratefully welcomes the summoned students. He introduces himself as Lizen Hygen, Emperor of the Empire Hygen. The emperor then kneels, welcoming them as our heroes. He implores them to defeat the Demon King, as students realize they're being treated like nobility. Nori watches, his expression unreadable as the emperor kneels. A bespectacled student steps forward, urging, Your Majesty, please don't do this. He then nervously asks the crucial question, can we return to our original world? The robed saint who summoned them steps forward, stating, I will answer that question for you. She introduces herself as Saint Ija, assuring them, all of you can return to your original world. Saint Ija explains their return is possible after 1 month, when the full moon rises. Relieved students learn they can stay at the castle and go home if they don't wish to fight. Nori considers this, thinking it's like a sightseeing trip in another world. A student voices another concern. So, will 1 month have passed in the original world too? Saint Ija smiles, clarifying they'll return to the exact moment they left. As time there won't change. Nori's eyes narrow, thinking, this is too good. What's the catch? Saint Ija then asks if anyone wishes to return after 1 month, assuring they won't be stopped. A burly student sweats, looking hesitant, uttering a single but, with tears in her eyes, Saint Ija clasps her hands, pleading, please, save our country. Save this world. Nori cynically anticipates a cliché, a self-centered hero stepping up to rally everyone. He glances at his classmates, wondering if any of them fit that predictable mold. The bespectacled student politely requests a month to consider their decision. Addressing the emperor, Nori observes his peers, noting their surprisingly level-headed response. Feeling similarly cautious, the emperor grants their request, declaring a month for decision and a day for celebration. Students react with surprised delight, exclaiming, a day of celebration. Nori smirks, thinking they're being treated so well, ready to enjoy another world's cuisine. He imagines tables laden with fantastical dishes, hoping for unique ingredients. Nori then spots a glowing magic circle, recognizing it from their classroom. Standing within it, he wonders about teleportation magic, noting its logistical superiority. With such tech, he muses, Gathering ingredients worldwide would be easy, exciting him for the food. A classmate approaches, nervously asking Nori why he's the only one in the circle. Suddenly, other students are also lifted by glowing circles, their faces showing shock and confusion. Nori looks up, a surprised HUD escaping him as his classmates ascend. He watches, speechless, as a soft poof sound effect appears beside his stunned face. Nori stands alone on the platform, remarking that this scene feels all too familiar. Nori finds himself back in a familiar void, greeted by the words, "Welcome to the Path of Souls." The goddess reappears, looking slightly surprised, reintroducing herself with a questioning. Nori calmly addresses the radiant figure, "Hello, goddess. We meet again." She floats above, asking if he hadn't just been there, to which Nori confirms yes. The goddess presses, "Didn't you just come here a moment ago?" And Nori once more affirms. Puzzled, the goddess touches her chin, wondering aloud, why is this happening? Nori, now seated, speculates if he'll be summoned again, and she vaguely agrees, probably. She extends her hand, stating a rule compels her to give him another gift. As Nori glows within a magic circle, the goddess offers uncertain encouragement, prompting his dry remark, "That's pretty irresponsible." Nori observes the new yellow magic circle, noting its different color and pattern from the previous purple one. Nori's focus snaps back to a grim reality. He's bound and gagged in a dark room. An old, wild-eyed man with a monocle declares the summoning was successful. A younger, equally unhinged man grins. "Yes, let's call this one test subject No. 12. The older man leans over Nori, speculating, it may possess an offensive type of magic eye. Nori glares, thinking, the fact that they're calling me a test subject doesn't feel good. A dark corridor looms, as Nori wonders, isn't this summoning seriously dangerous? The younger man agrees with the older. "Yes, doctor," as they prepare to experiment carefully. Nori, now collared, observes the doctor, thinking, just by looking, I can tell he's a mad scientist. The mad scientist approaches with a scalpel, announcing an experiment on Nori's magic eye. Shocking him, a flashback shows a glowing figure, explaining summoned humans often receive a magic eye upon arrival. The mad scientist, tools at the ready, declares, "Our job is to prove that." Nori, still bound, "I see. So magic eye is the gift you receive when you're summoned." The doctor forms a glowing eye symbol, intending to hypnotize Nori to prevent any rampage. Nori watches, alarmed, as the glowing hypnosis magic approaches his face. The scientist presses the glowing symbol towards Nori, who is completely restrained. Confused, the doctor mutters the hypnosis effect is minimal or perhaps not working at all. Nori internally scoffs, "I used advanced hypnosis magic. This is supposed to be advanced." The younger assistant shouts in panic, "Doctor, this test subject No. 12. Nori's eyes are revealed, a red time magic eye in his right, and a yellow truth magic eye in his left. The doctor reels back, utterly shocked, exclaiming, "What?" The scientists are thrilled, declaring Nori the perfect test subject with such rare magic eyes. Undeterred, the doctor orders the experiment to begin immediately, even without hypnosis. Nori internally panics, realizing an experiment without hypnosis is just straight-up torture. He strains against his restraints, desperately wondering if his magic eyes can offer an escape. Suddenly, a new, green magic circle flares to life beneath Nori's bound form. Both the doctor and his assistant stare in utter disbelief at the unexpected magical phenomenon. As Nori begins to dematerialize within the green light, he sighs, again. Nori finds himself standing once more in the familiar, empty void between worlds. The goddess reappears, a knowing smile on her face, remarking, this is the third time, isn't it?" She playfully asks if he likes her, and Nori, ever stoic, simply replies, "It's inevitable." Nori looks up, asking the goddess if she has any idea what's happening. The goddess admits this is a first for her too, promising to investigate further. As a new green magic circle appears, Nori muses on his casualness with the deity. He narrates that his next summoning destination was a rather stately building. Inside, a young noble girl and an elf-like woman admire their humanoid monster summoning. Nori stands before them, the two women looking on with keen interest. He internally questions a monster, revealing his sharp teeth and unique eyes. They attempt to prick his finger, aiming to force him into a subordination contract. Suddenly, the noble girl and her companions stare in shock as another magic circle flares up. Nori smirks with a glint in his eye, exclaiming internally, "It happened again." Back in the void, the goddess sighs, asking Nori, "You're not tired of this yet?" Nori presses, "So, did you figure out why the summoning keeps happening?" And she confirms, "I've got a rough idea." She explains, the target of a summoning is typically someone with a strong soul. The goddess continues, "You need a strong soul to cross between worlds. A visual depicts a soul as a powerful, fiery essence traversing the void. She then reveals to Nori, and you happen to possess an incredibly rare, strong soul. Nori looks surprised, questioning me. I'm neither a saint nor a particularly good person. The goddess dismisses his doubt. That doesn't matter. To put it simply, the strength of your soul is what matters. She offers a solution. If your soul becomes bound to that world, through something like a hero's contract, this won't happen anymore. The scene shifts, showing a grand, sunlit building, hinting at Nori's next potential summoning spot. A silver-haired girl with a crown holds a glowing orb, revealing Nori has a skill called Skill Steal. Nori's red eye widens, surprised, as he internally notes, a beautiful girl. He narrates that on his 4th summoning, he received yet another gift. Nori was about to make a hero's contract to anchor his soul, telling the blushing girl, sure, let's make the contract. Nori begins to dematerialize as a dark magic circle appears beneath him, summoning him once more. His next destination is an overgrown, slightly eerie-looking building at dusk. On the 5th time, a hooded girl with sharp teeth uses black magic to summon him amidst candles and an open book. Nori, lying on a glowing magic circle, muses that he was granted a gift from that dark domain. A flash shows a demonic, fiery landscape with a dark citadel under a stormy red sky. And on the 6th summoning, Nori lies within another summoning circle, looking resigned. Demons cheer as Nori, now the resurrected demon lord, lies on an altar, narrating his unexpected new role. Back in the void, Nori sits calmly, dark energy swirling around him. The goddess appears, remarking, your abilities have really become incredible. Nori, his dual-colored eyes looking up, simply asks, is that so? She then declares, but the next summoning will probably be the last one, to Nori's surprise. The goddess explains she'll merge all his gifts, urging him to check his status with his right eye upon arrival. His next destination is a majestic castle where voices exclaim, welcome, hero. Nori's yellow eye scans the scene as he internally sighs, another hero, huh? 3 uniformed students stare back, one demanding, huh? Who are you? A brown-haired student, identified as Ryudo Shinzaki, looks around in awe asking, is this a castle? A ponytailed girl, Tamaki Karasawa, recognizes the others, exclaiming, Howie Ryudo. The 3 students in school uniforms begin to gather, surprised by their familiar faces. Another girl, Aoi Isekai, also calls out in recognition, Tamaki, Ryudo. As the 3 classmates reunite, Nori stands apart observing them. From his throne, a regal figure turns, intrigued by the unexpected number of arrivals. The Crown King notes with a stern expression, legend speaks of 3 heroes. Nori looks towards the throne, a silent exclamation marking his realization. He deduces, for summoned, 3 know each other. I'm the odd one out. Nori internally despairs. Why am I always the extra one dragged into these things? The for summoned individuals, Nori slightly isolated, now face the king in the grand hall. The king, looking perplexed, points and exclaims then. He questions Nori, so you're just an ordinary person caught up in the summoning? To which Nori replies, seems like it. The king strokes his beard, remarking, one thing. It's the first time I've heard of being involved though. As a new figure steps forward, the king asks the group, you guys are heroes from another world, right? A boisterous blonde princess appears, declaring, I, the first princess, personally summoned you. You should be grateful. Nori internally deadpans, is this the entrance of an annoying princess or what? The princess grandly presents their location, and this is our country, the kingdom of the rising sun. She explains their world contains humans, demi-humans, and demons, stating, demons are enemies of humans. The princess elaborates, led by the demon king. They've created a nation and are invading our human territories. She concludes, that's why the Makard Empire, head of the Human Federation, pleaded with every country to summon heroes. The princess proudly declares, but only women of royal blood can summon heroes, which means me. She continues, explaining that each country trains the heroes they've summoned. As the 3 students listen, Ryudo clenches his fist, determined. As the princess says they create an army of heroes to fight the demon king. With a smug smile, the princess asks, how about it? Isn't it a brilliant plan? Nori internally scoffs, a quantity over quality strategy, just as I feared. The just shoot a lot and hope something hits plan. The 3 students look uneasy, while Ryudo internally chuckles, damn. I can't help but laugh every time I hear the name of this country. Ryudo steps forward, addressing the princess. First princess, may I ask one question? The princess turns her attention to Ryudo as he asks, is there a way for us to return to our original world? She bluntly replies, there's no such way, shocking the 3 students. The princess then questions, you're going to become the proud heroes of the Rising Sun Kingdom. aren't you? Shouldn't you be grateful for the situation rather than trying to return? Nori internally scoffs. This is ridiculous, no way to return. They should learn from Hygen's customer service. The king then instructs, place your hand on this tablet to confirm the blessing you received as a hero. A robed figure presents an ornate stone tablet resting in a golden box. Nori, arms crossed, watches as the tablet is offered to the students. Ryudo Shinzaki touches it, glowing blue, revealing his blessing, limit break. Aoi Isekai's turn, she glows green, her blessing, barrier magic. Tamaki Karasawa touches the tablet next, bathed in orange light, her blessing, magic affinity. Finally, Nori places his hand, a yellow aura appearing, his blessing, detection. The king observes, detection, so I do have a blessing. Nori's eye twitches, but detection feels like I'm the odd one out. Am I supposed to be a thief or something? Nori narrates that their physical and magical abilities were then measured. The summoned are put through a running test, Ryudo leading with surprising speed. Ryudo smashes through training dummies, showcasing superhuman physical prowess. Aoi unleashes a powerful green magical blast, proving her extraordinary magic. Tamaki, too, demonstrates impressive superhuman results with her fiery orange aura. Nori, however, struggles pathetically, a tiny flame fizzling out as he attempts magic. He laments his lack of growth, feeling weaker than before and embarrassed by his performance. Exhausted and dejected, Nori concedes the others are the true heroes here. Later, the three students gather, likely discussing their new, powerful roles. That night, Nori reveals they all met in Ryudo's room to plan their next move. Nori notes Ryudo's room is bigger than his, then wonders why he's even there. Ryudo speaks, while Tamaki glares at Nori, questioning why this guy is present since he's not a hero. Nori internally winces as Tamaki asks what's the point of bringing someone who's not a real asset. Tamaki claims she's not worried, but Nori senses her concern that he might get caught up in things. Nori smiles faintly, thinking to himself that Tamaki isn't being honest with her feelings. Ryudo, however, steps in, asserting that Nori's detection is an important ability. Nori observes with a close-up on his eyes that the heroes seem to have different evaluations of him. Ryudo acknowledges Nori's lack of combat power, suggesting Aoi, the barrier mage, should protect him. Aoi quietly agrees, if Ryu says so, fine. And Nori notes her cute expressions despite her quiet demeanor. Nori observes the three good-looking heroes, feeling like they've already won in life. Tamaki voices her concern, so, is it really okay for us to stay in this country? Ryudo ponders her question, while Nori watches him intently. Ryudo then replies, this country's not bad, is it? The treatment's fine. Nori cuts in, holding up his notebook and asking Ryudo, what's your problem? He reveals a written message, we're being bugged. Don't say anything suspicious. Startling the others. The three heroes react with surprise as Nori explains, my blessing, detection. Nori smirks, thinking, looks like it's already proving useful. A golden glow emanates from Nori as he subtly smiles, appreciating his power. He elaborates internally that detection lets him sense people or creatures even beyond walls. Nori then reveals, for example, right now, there's someone eavesdropping right outside the door. Nori explains he sent the maids away, so the eavesdropper is unexpected. He scribbles in his notebook, deducing it's either a returning maid or someone else entirely. Nori writes a new note, Aoi, could you try casting a soundproof barrier? The others look surprised. Aoi nods, a determined look on her face as she accepts the task. Her hands begin to glow with a vibrant green light, preparing the spell. Aoi thrusts her hands upwards, shouting as a green barrier envelops the group. She strains, admitting, it worked, but I'm not skilled enough to maintain it for long. Ryudo reassures her with a thumbs up, Aoi, this is enough. Thanks, and she smiles happily. Tamaki then questions, but why are they eavesdropping on our conversation? Ryudo gravely explains their power is a threat, capable of controlling the fate of nations. Tamaki fumes, they summoned us against our will, of course they'd eavesdrop. Nori calmly interjects, this country must be desperate, surprising the others. He elaborates, though I don't know this world's norms, I suspect a financial crisis. Nori points out the king's unusual direct involvement and a surprisingly small number of guards. Tamaki concurs with his observations, then adds, but the food was good, wasn't it? She recalls their meal, simple yet flavorful with spices and garlic. Nori internally questions her taste, wondering if his own palate is off. He then critiques Ryudo's room, finding it too plain for a hero. Barely better than soldiers' quarters. Nori reflects on his past, comparing the summoning to his first, more lavish experience in the Hazen Kingdom. He proposes, we need an escape plan. My detection can bypass their surveillance to find a way home. Nori speculates to the others, you guys are probably this country's only hope most likely. Tamaki realizes there's no way they'd just let their only hope return to its world. As Aoi looks down, Nori adds they might be hiding a way back, though escape won't be easy yet. Rito agrees we're still weak and don't know enough for now. Let's keep watching the situation. Tamaki suddenly leans in close, scrutinizing Nori's face, making him question her intent. She points out, "Your left eye, what's that?" It's yellow as Nori panics, having forgotten his odd eye. Nori facepalms, berating himself for forgetting something so conspicuous and weird for a Japanese person. As Nori covers his eye, Rito tells Tamaki everyone has a secret they don't want to tell. Rito then dismisses it to Tamaki, "Leave him alone," implying Nori is just going through a phase. Nori internally sighs, "Ryu, he thinks I'm some Shinobu with a colored contact in one eye." Nori internally decides to just go along with Ryuto's Shinobu misunderstanding. He then dramatically thinks to himself, "Behold, the power of my mystic eye." Alone in his room, Nori wonders about the actual abilities of his so-called evil eye. A status window pops up, revealing Nori is a Baron-rank vampire with impressive stats. Nori notes his stats seem high, but lacks a baseline for comparison in this new world. He then recalls his poor performance in physical test back in his old world. Confused by the discrepancy, focusing his gaze, Nori decides it's time to examine his skill set more closely. His skills are revealed: Mystic Eye of Poetry, True Mystic Eye, Skill Steal, and Dark Magic. Adding detection to the list, Nori reflects on acquiring many skills from multiple summonings. He recalls this is his third summoning, once even as a human-type monster. Nori stares at his status, confirming, "I'm a demon, a vampire." A new skill, Hatred of the Sun God, reveals his stats plummet and skills are restricted in daylight. He realizes the sunlight caused his dizziness during the physical test, and the garlic in their dinner explains why it tasted so bad to him. Nori remembers observing Tamaki and Aoi earlier. He recalls an unsettling urge, drawn to the blood pulsing beneath their necks. Nori realizes he was so focused on detecting outside threats, he missed what was happening inside himself. He sighs, "The odd eye and the vampire thing. I keep missing things about myself." A painful memory surfaces, Nori screaming, seemingly being torn apart during a past summoning. Nori examines his skill list, noting Sun God's disdain among abilities gained from many summonings. Nori explains his detection skill allows him to sense living beings within his range. He then gestures towards a candle, hinting at another of his abilities. Nori reveals he can consume magical energy from materials like the candle. With a flash of light, he demonstrates his weapon creation skill. He inspects a newly formed, gleaming knife, seemingly impressed by his own power. Nori's right eye glows with a red sigil as he explains it's the poet's mystic eyes. A status screen details its incredible powers, absolute detection, microscopic vision, and more. Nori muses that this eye is specialized for seeing, capable of perceiving almost anything. He then shifts focus to his mysterious left eye, the yellow true mystic eye, which he doesn't fully grasp. Its description reveals it can transfer and activate magic circles, leaving Nori utterly baffled. Nori sighs, deciding to learn this world's magic later. His skill list reappears, and he admits many abilities remain a mystery. With a feigned smirk, Nori says he's starting to grasp the vampirism aspect. Text reveals his power: draining blood can create ghouls or even vampire subordinates. His eyes glow as he realizes killing with his blood creates loyal servants. Draining all blood grants him the victim's memories he grimly accepts, "I'm a total monster." Furthermore, complete drainage allows him to steal their skills. Nori relaxes on his bed, realizing his full power awakens at night. He smirks, confident in his future strength, but knows he needs something first. Under a bright sky, Nori resolves to adapt, then declares he'll teach the others martial arts. A stern, blonde woman in a red uniform introduces herself to the group as the Knight Commander. Her name is revealed: Iana Ichida, Knight Commander of the Rising Sun Kingdom. Nori observes, internally surprised by a female Knight Commander in this kingdom. He cynically wonders if her appointment is due to finances or just for show, though admits it's plausible in fantasy. Iana tells Tamaki and Aoi that despite their magic talent, they must learn basic martial arts. She then states that typical strength training won't be necessary for them. Nori internally scoffs, of course not, already aware of their enhanced abilities. Ryuto's status is displayed, a hero with high HP, STR, and VIT, blessed with limit break. Tamaki's status appears next, a scholar boasting immense MP than it, with mana affinity. Finally, Aoi's status shows another scholar with strong MP and VIT, possessing boundary arts. Nori observes that his companion's stats have all surpassed human limits. Iana explains Ryuto, Tamaki, and Aoi can choose their path after basic martial arts. But she then singles out Nori, stating he needs to build strength first. He must reach a regular soldier's level, Iana declares, as Nori struggles with push-ups. Nori pants, barely managing the exercise under the Knight Commander's stern gaze. He internally curses his vampiric drowsiness and sun-induced headaches. Iana announces she'll personally train him, demanding he take it seriously. With a foggy head, Nori realizes escaping this intense training won't be easy. Suddenly, a cheerful blonde girl with pigtails interrupts, asking for a moment. Nori groans internally, recognizing the annoying pigtail princess from yesterday. The pigtail princess is accompanied by another blonde girl, who wonders about Nori. Nori, sweating from his push-ups, notes the newcomer is with a maid and must be a princess. Admitting she's beautiful, he observes her stiff expression, comparing her to a doll with a fake smile. Knight Commander Iana formally greets them. Greetings, princesses. What brings you here? Nori, still struggling on the ground, processes that both girls are indeed princesses. The new princess politely explains she's come to observe the hero's training. The pigtail princess then interjects, demanding gratitude for her personal visit. Nori internally sighs. There she goes with her gratitude talk again. The new princess steps closer to Nori, her heels clacking, and says, "Hello, Inori." She introduces herself with a gentle smile. "I'm the second princess of the Rising Sun Kingdom. It's a pleasure to meet you." The second princess informs Nori, "This afternoon, I will be speaking with you," leaving him puzzled. Later, in a chamber of the Rising Sun Kingdom's royal castle, the scene shifts to a well-stocked library. She clarifies with a smile, "We'll have classes here." Nori internally notes the awkwardness, as he's the only one receiving a separate class. Meanwhile, the other three heroes are in a different room, being taught by the first princess. A flashback shows the first princess scoffing. "How can I, the first princess, teach someone who isn't a hero? That's absurd." Nori, unimpressed, silently vows, "I'll get my revenge someday." The second princess, pointer in hand, declares, "Then, let's start the lesson." Nori hesitantly raises his hand. "Second princess, may I ask a question before we start?" She kindly responds, "What is it, Inori?" As he begins, "If you're the second princess." Nori asks if she's the first princess's younger sister, picturing both. The second princess reveals, "No, I'm actually older, but due to complicated circumstances." Silhouettes illustrate the succession. The first princess is the designated heir. Nori internally notes the complexity, thinking royal succession is always troublesome. He decides not to pry further into the sensitive royal matter. The second princess begins her lesson, explaining the history of the Rising Sun Kingdom. She reveals it was founded by a hero who defeated the previous demon king. This kingdom, she explains, was established by a powerful female magician. A statue of the founder, a witch, highlights the kingdom's witch-worshipping culture, where women hold central roles. Consequently, the throne itself is passed down through the female line. The king, who marries into the royal family, acts as a regent and governs the country. Furthermore, the queen holds the power to strip the king of his authority through divorce. Nori recalls learning about this kingdom's history from the second princess. He also studied the basics of magic, though he seems to have dozed off during her lecture. As night falls over the royal castle, the moon shines brightly. Back in his room, Nori reviews his notes, anticipating lessons on magic ideologies and practical training. He's currently engrossed in an introductory magic book borrowed from the second princess. Nori reflects that despite his rudeness sleeping in class, the second princess remained kind. He smirks, finding her doll-like, unwavering smile almost comically detached. Looking at a complex magic circle in the book, Nori decides to attempt an experiment he couldn't do previously. Nori focuses, activating his true mystic eye, which glows with a golden light. He explains this: "I should store any magic circle he sees, allowing later activation." But sitting on his bed, Nori sighs in frustration. The ability isn't working as expected. He's tried it with various magic circles from the book, all to no avail. Closing the book, he mutters, "As I thought, nothing happened, total failure." Suddenly, a thought strikes Nori, and he looks up with a glimmer of realization. Oh right, he remembers, as his other eye flares with a crimson pattern glow. I had another eye. Now at his desk, Nori prepares parchment and a quill, ready for a new attempt. With careful precision, his hand begins to draw a complex, eye-like symbol onto the paper. His red eye remains active as he concentrates, stating, "I can recall it clearly." Nori recalls a past decision. "In a world where I obtain these two eyes, I'll hypnotize myself to prevent losing control." He used advanced hypnosis magic from an eccentric doctor, a feat normally impossible to memorize instantly. But his mystic eye of poetry granted photographic memory, perfectly capturing the intricate symbol. Nori realizes it's a magic circle from the same world as the magical eye. His golden true mystic eye flares, a complex sigil glowing within it as he focuses on the drawn circle. A novel sensation washes over him, and he wonders with anticipation, did I succeed? To test his newfound power, Nori rings a small handbell. The maid, Ms. Nala, promptly appears asking, "Excuse me, Inori, did you call for me?" Nori, sitting on his bed, gestures towards her. "Ms. Nala, I need a favor," as she looks puzzled. His golden true mystic eye flashes intensely, the intricate symbol within it shining brightly. Golden rings of light envelop a startled Ms. Nala, who exclaims, "Oh!" A close-up reveals the intricate golden sigil reflected in Ms. Nala's eye. Her eyes then appear dazed, a subtle golden glow now within her pupils. Nori, hand outstretched, wonders if his experiment worked and decides to ask a random question. He boldly asks Ms. Nala her underwear color, and she flatly responds, "It's black." Nori smirks, his golden eye gleaming, confirming her answer is correct, while text indicates X-ray vision in progress. He realizes his advanced hypnosis magic was activated by the true mystic eye. A sudden thought strikes Nori, his golden eye flaring. Wait a minute. Various complex magic circles float in his mind as he ponders the true mystic eye's limitations. He theorizes, could it be I can only store magic circles from the world where I obtain the magical eye? A title card appears, the Jin's mystic eyes, highlighting Nori's golden, sigil-filled eye. Ms. Nala remains caught in the golden light, utterly bewildered by the sudden phenomenon. The intricate golden sigil remains imprinted within Ms. Nala's dazed, unseeing eyes. While Ms. Nala confirms his intrusive question, Nori ponders if his eye only stores magic from its origin world. He then considers if the advanced hypnosis spell is the only thing it can store from that world. Nori, his crimson eye still glowing, quickly dismisses this limiting thought. No, it can't be. Fragmented memories surface, his chaotic summoning and the summoners discussing another chance. He recalls a cryptic comment from his past. It seems they've been granted a gift of that type. A vivid flashback shows the summoning ritual, and Nori realizes, I saw the magic circle that summoned me. I'll remember it. Nori focuses, attempting to store the complex summoning magic circle within his true mystic eye. Nori considers activating the summoning magic circle as it is. A colossal burst of golden light erupts in a distant forest, signaling a powerful teleportation. He reappears, enveloped in golden energy, having successfully moved to the forest near the capital. This feat combines his poet's mystic eye's long-distance vision with his god's mystic eye's perspective shift. Under the moonlight, Nori realizes he can now venture outside the castle at will. He decides to test his various skills under the cover of night, where his abilities can be fully unleashed. Reaching towards a crumbling wall, Nori prepares to use black magic Jin. With black magic domination, he effortlessly lifts massive stone fragments from the ruins. He understands that non-living substances can be controlled by the power of darkness. Nori stands triumphantly amidst the levitating stones, his eyes glowing with dark power. Nori reveals he can freely move dominated objects and even store them within his shadow. However, to physically interact with them, he must first release his domination. He contemplates the peculiar convenience and inconvenience of this shadow storage. Next, Nori tests black magic, shadow movement, his feet sinking into the darkened ground. He melts into a pool of shadow, disappearing from sight. The skill allows him to traverse through the shadowy plane. Nori then emerges seamlessly from the shadow of a nearby tree, proving his free movement. He's amazed by the spaciousness of the shadow realm, finding it surprisingly accommodating. With a determined look, Nori decides it's time to focus on acquiring new skills. A brilliant golden light flares as he initiates weapon creation. Nori materializes a gleaming golden sword, questioning if this power is sufficient. He closes his eyes, a determined expression forming as he recalls another crucial detail. During daytime training, his poet's mystic eyes were hard at work observing from afar. He perfectly memorized every move of the Knight Commander training the heroes. Nori declares he will now replicate those exact, powerful sword movements. With focused intensity, he practices the commander's forms, his eyes glowing with power. He diligently repeated this rigorous sword training whenever he found a spare moment. Panting heavily, Nori feels a sudden breakthrough, exclaiming that something just clicked perfectly. A green system window materializes before him, signaling a new development. The window announces, you have acquired the skill Swordsmanship 55-1, and Nori understands. Nori muses that skill acquisition takes time, now aiming for a level-up skill when a rustle startles him. From the moonlit trees, a massive, shadowy beast with a glowing red eye emerges. Nori watching in alarm. A bead of sweat rolls down Nori's face as he nervously questions, what's that? A bird? No. Is it a monster? His skill identification reveals a bird-type monster, Kecha, with shockingly high stats. Its fearsome form drooling, He recalls that Kecho feathers, a specialty of the Rising Sun Kingdom, are used to make luxurious beds, peeking from bushes. Nori wonders if the locals hunt such powerful creatures and considers starting with weaker prey. He remembers identifying other, seemingly weaker monsters like small, dark creatures with glowing red eyes. Yet even those had stats averaging 500 to 600, some even surpassing his own. As a larger shadowy beast appears, sitting dejectedly on a rock, Nori questions if the forest monsters are unusually strong, or if he's simply too weak. He concludes with a grim realization: all the monsters in this forest, they're stronger than I expected. Nori considers fighting one-on-one, but the risk of multiple foes makes him decide to retreat and prepare. Back at the royal castle of the Rising Sun Kingdom, someone walks through the darkened halls. The distinct clop of heeled shoes echoes through the quiet castle. Knight Commander Igiana, lantern in hand, patrols a dimly lit corridor. A voice calls out, "Your Highness, the second princess," as Igiana pauses. The second princess appears, also holding a lantern, questioning why Igiana is alone so late. She then asks Knight Commander Igiana about Inori's party not using magic tools during training. Igiana confirms the three heroes are indeed guided with training weapons. She elaborates that Inori is focusing on strength training, mastering martial arts basics first. The princess wonders if it wouldn't be better to explain the magic tools beforehand, if they'll use them eventually. Igiana's sharp eyes reveal her conviction in her training methods. She explains that while magic tools boost power, early reliance breeds weakness. Igiana firmly believes in building fundamental strength of body and mind first. The second princess listens intently, a thoughtful silence hanging between them. With a smile, the princess concedes, apologizing for questioning the strongest in humanity. Igiana's expression softens slightly, a hint of weariness in her eyes. The princess then remarks, "Now, you don't smile like you used to." Igiana remains quiet, her gaze distant as she processes the princess's observation. Turning away, the princess insists, "I'm still smiling even now." Igiana then shifts the topic, asking the second princess, "What do you think about the first princess?" The second princess states the first princess naturally belongs on the throne, possessing talent, reputation, conviction, and ideals, as a portrait of the first princess is shown. Igiana intently asks, "Is that truly your sincere feeling, Your Highness?" While the princess looks surprised, the second princess cautions Knight Commander Igiana, "You never know where ears might be listening." She continues, warning that speaking ill of the first princess could lead to punishment for blasphemy. Igiana bows her head slightly, a shadow cast over her eyes as she silently acknowledges the warning. Igiana reassures the princess not to hesitate, before the scene cuts to a few days later with a sharp paw. 2 weeks into this new world, Nori notes the three heroes' martial arts training has progressed quite well. Ryudo, one of the heroes, grips his sword, which emits a faint blue glow, still checking if it suits him. With a determined hop, Ryudo executes a powerful slash, continuing to learn swordsmanship. Meanwhile, Tamaki diligently learns staff techniques using a cane, which glows with a fiery aura. Tamaki unleashes a fiery high-up with her staff, Nori wondering if she's just using it as a blunt, muscle-brain weapon. Aoi, on the other hand, appears to be mastering archery, her bow glowing with green energy. While arrows might leave her open, Aoi's barrier magic means she can handle her own defense. Nori observes their progress with an intrigued O, taking it all in. He notes Ryudo's specialization in close combat, his blue sword radiating power. Tamaki is recognized for her powerful long-range attacks and her ability to fight up close. And Aoi, nimble and defensive, excels as a long-range attacker, forming a well-balanced party. Nori then reveals he started his own serious martial arts training 3 days prior. His focus, however, isn't swordsmanship, but rather dagger techniques and throwing skills. It seems Nori is also learning the arts of stealth and trap disarming, practicing near a guard. Nori wonders if they're training him as a scout, a role suiting his detection skill. Suddenly, golden energy blasts down from the night sky. Nori stands amidst a fiery aura, contemplating his own skill development. He resolves to level up his abilities independently, his dagger now pulsing with purple power. Nori channels this purple energy, preparing to unleash a new technique. He activates remote control by domination, sending multiple energy-infused daggers flying. With a focused gaze, Nori shouts release, directing his attack. One of his daggers strikes true, embedding itself firmly into a tree. He observes, noting he can barely use or acquire common skills during daylight. Nori laments the sun god's dreadful hatred, questioning if leveling up will remove it. Nori decides, for now, I need to strengthen my skills, activating shadow movement to focus on leveling up. Suddenly, massive, taloned feet of a monstrous creature land nearby. A giant, white feathered bird-like monster with glowing red eyes appears under the full moon, drooling menacingly. The monstrous bird takes flight, soaring swiftly through the darkened forest. Nori, cloaked in swirling shadows, leaps with a fierce grin, ready to intercept the beast. The monster screeches in surprise as Nori's shadowy form rapidly approaches. A confident smirk plays on Nori's lips, his eyes glinting with purple energy as he embraces his dark power. He reveals his new ability, created through weapon synthesis and strengthened by the power of darkness. A terrifying red aura erupts behind Nori, forming the silhouette of a demonic bird as he unleashes black death silk. Nori's eyes blaze yellow as he directs the dark, thread-like energy towards the ensnared monster. Nori, one eye blazing yellow, commands the ensnared beast, "Look straight at me." A close-up reveals intricate golden symbols swirling within his eye, Jin's mystic eye's hypnosis. The monster's large red eye reflects the complex, glowing pattern, now under Nori's influence. A satisfied smirk crosses Nori's face, his glowing eyes confirming IT worked. The beast, already captured by Black Death Silk, is now fully hypnotized by Jin's mystic eyes. Nori stands before the subdued monster, its eyes still mirroring the hypnotic sigil. He clarifies that living beings resist control by black magic, holding a dagger near the creature. But once they die, Nori explains, I can control them. As purple energy engulfs the lifeless monster, the defeated creature, still bound, sinks into a swirling vortex of shadows on the ground. Nori stands above the spot, revealing, I can also store them in the shadows. Nori smirks, pleased his experimental methods are proving successful. He reveals this secluded spot means no interference from other monsters. Draining enough blood to a lethal dose, he realizes also boosts his level. Nori anticipates a status increase from his newly acquired vampirism skill. Emerging from the shadows, Nori continues his nocturnal power-up routine. He stealthily approaches a sleeping, green, dog-like creature in the moonlit forest. Though the beast doesn't look appetizing, Nori resolves to keep hunting this way. As the first light of dawn breaks, his nighttime endeavors must conclude. Nori is then seen sleeping soundly, having returned from his hunt. He teleports back to his room, outlining his recent pattern of nightly excursions. A smiling maid greets Nori, Mr. Inori, it's morning, please wake up. Nori, still groggy, clarifies he only uses hypnosis when absolutely necessary or going out. He reveals that for 2 weeks, he's frequently used hypnosis. Gathering intel on the Rising Sun Kingdom, Nori learned the current princess struggled to conceive, introducing a young, blue-eyed girl. This kingdom, he discovered, is fundamentally centered on the queen's bloodline, passed to daughters. However, a strange pattern emerged. The royal family often died young from illness, leaving no heir. Fearing the line's end, the kingdom brought in a distant duchess as the king's concubine. This duchess successfully gave birth to a child, a smiling, healthy baby. That child, Nori's intel revealed, is named Alia, shown as a cheerful young girl. The name Alia itself signifies heir to the throne, as a crowd cheers for their future ruler. Alia, hardworking and diligent, earned the people's love, but things changed when she turned 7. Unexpectedly, a daughter was born to the king and queen. This newborn child, peacefully asleep, was given the name Amanda. Amanda, meaning beloved, is shown as a young girl with pigtails, conjuring pink magic. The queen, adorned in royal attire, smiles joyfully, her eyes sparkling. The queen deeply loved Amanda, who inherited her mother's magical powers. From that moment, Alia, now standing solemnly amidst books, stopped receiving education for succession. When Amanda turned 7, the queen ceremoniously placed a pin in her hair. Amanda became the first princess, casting a large shadow over a distant, smaller Alia. A crowd of hands reaches up, cheering enthusiastically under falling confetti. Amanda shines in the spotlight, adored by the crowd, while Alia stands alone in the distant shadows. A close-up shows Alia with a faint, bittersweet smile accepting her fate. As Amanda became the focus, the narration states, and Alia's name lost its meaning. Ignored by all, unmarried and abandoned by the queen, Alia was relegated to a secluded castle. Nori recalls she lived a doll-like life, locked in a suffocating castle. As he's shown asleep at a desk near her, he inwardly reflects on her situation. Not being expected to do anything is just like me. A gentle voice, Alia's, breaks his reverie. Wake up, Mr. Inori. Alia lightly scolds the yawning Nori for sleeping, remarking, how strange. I'm nagging now. She then inquires about his studies. You're learning detection and concealment techniques in martial arts training, right? Alia thoughtfully observes, you may not have talent in magic, but you're gifted in that area, aren't you? Nori internally admits, it seems I can't use most of the magic in this world. Almost nothing. He observes a maid effortlessly using magic, realizing his inability is exceptionally rare. Alia points out, the captain of the knights is a busy person. The fact that they make time for you is because they recognize your value, isn't it? She presses while Nori deflects. It's probably because you're a bonus to the heroes. A brief pause as Nori's hand rests thoughtfully on the desk. Alia earnestly advises him. You can get stronger, so I think you need to put in more effort. Nori remains silent, contemplating her words with a neutral expression. Turning decisively, Alia instructs, follow me, gesturing towards a new path. A lit candle flickers on a stone wall, a soft tap echoing in the passage. Alia leads Nori down a winding stone staircase, their footsteps the only sound. Nori looks up, surprised, as they reach the top of the staircase. Alia stands before a massive, brightly glowing doorway, beckoning him forward. Today, instead of lessons, let's use this room, Alia declares, her hand glowing with green magic. She turns, her aura intensifying. How do you feel about the current situation? Where you're called weak despite being a hero? Alia presses, as Nori looks down. Don't you think it's pathetic? Alia exclaims, her eyes sharp and challenging. Nori stares back, taken aback by her sudden intensity. Oh, what's going on all of a sudden? Nori thinks, clearly bewildered. The scene shifts to a somber Alia as narration begins. The second princess, perhaps due to past failures, had completely hidden her emotions, earning the nickname Doll Princess. A chibi Alia falls through darkness. Nori stares, surprised by Alia's sudden change. As the narration continues, but now, Alia stands resolute, her green aura flaring, clearly expressing her emotions. She turns, her long hair flowing, walking towards the brightly lit chamber. Nori watches her enter a vast, circular room with a glowing magical seal on the ceiling. Alia warns him sternly, at this rate, you'll be kicked out of the castle. He reacts with a bewildered what, clearly not expecting this. A flashback shows a faceless queen stating, there's no obligation to nurture an incompetent person who doesn't put in any effort. Alia finishes her thought, that's what they said. Nori retorts, what kind of reason is that, even though the detection blessing is quite useful? Alia concedes, I agree that part isn't fair, but it's also true that you're not putting in enough effort. Alia presses Nori, since you were blessed with a skill, why don't you try a little harder? A flashback shows Alia observing Nori, who's often asleep during his studies. Nori reflects, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. He recalls a grim past, facing a bandaged, menacing figure with a knife. Nori clenches his fist, retorting to Alia, I am trying my best. I'm not a proper hero, nor talented like you, princess, he explains. This is the best I can do. Alia, her face shadowed, reveals the special training room is protected by barrier magic, so no one will come, no matter how loud you get. She continues as Nori reaches for the door. Nori, puzzled, asks, oh, how do you open this? While Alia remains silent. Alia's piercing teal eyes narrow with intense determination. With fierce determination, Alia kicks the massive door inward. The heavy door splinters under the force of her powerful kick. Nori, caught completely off guard, smashes face first into the recoiling door with an UGHH. Stunned, Nori turns to Alia, whose face is now shadowed and unreadable. Alia declares, you're not in a completely hopeless situation like I was. She warns him, if you get kicked out, you'll die to monsters. Even if it's embarrassing, you have to survive. Nori observes her, realizing, in that moment, there wasn't a doll princess, but a proud and noble woman, as Alia stands resolute before him. Alia passionately urges him, you can change if you try, get a grip. A sly, knowing smirk spreads across Nori's face as he chuckles, hee. Nori bursts into laughter, clutching his head as a bewildered Alia looks on. You're a good woman, Nori declares, causing a flustered Alia to blush. He continues with a knowing smile, I underestimated you. I didn't think you were this strong. Alia, still blushing, asks, you're mocking me now, aren't you, Inori? You can relax, Nori reassures her. My obsession with life is much stronger than others. He adds, just like you, and Alia stares, surprised by the comparison. Alia admits, looks like I was the one who underestimated you. Nori stands with a new resolve, his eyes glowing faintly as Alia observes, somehow right now. You seem really strong, but it's still true that I'm on the verge of being kicked out, Nori concedes. So I'll think of a way. Back at his desk, Nori studies a book, determined, I don't want to be exiled either. I need to gather more information. At the Rising Sun Kingdom's training ground, Nori grips a knife, his expression set. He resolves to show the true value of his detection blessing to avoid expulsion. With dungeon training seemingly paused, Nori considers his options. Suddenly, a blonde knight commander declares, today's training ends here. Panting, Nori wonders if he should ask the knight commander to persuade the queen. He approaches Commander Igiana, who turns, sensing his presence. Later, Aigiana sits at her desk, acknowledging Nori's power but stating his request might be difficult. Nori looks disheartened, questioning if his skill is truly that useless. He admits his lack of training and enthusiasm, but Aigiana interjects, "That's not it." Surprised, Nori listens as Aigiana clarifies, "I'm not underestimating your abilities." Commander Aigiana leans forward, proposing, "Have you thought about joining the Knights?" Nori stares back, completely taken aback by her unexpected suggestion. A flashback shows Nori's detection skill aiding Knights against a fearsome dungeon beast. Aigiana clarifies, "When I said it would be difficult, I meant I don't have enough authority." She continues, "As I serve as a soldier, not a hero's accessory, if you can stand on your own." Aigiana passionately exclaims, "You might be able to avoid being expelled." Back at her desk, Aigiana earnestly repeats her offer for Nori to join the Knights. Nori turns his head, seriously contemplating this new path presented to him. He envisions himself as a knight, realizing joining them means I'm bound to this country. Nori, with a conflicted expression, admits it's a bit complicated. Nori politely tells Commander Aigiana it's hard to decide right away. Aigiana, understanding, offers, "When you have nowhere else to turn, come find me." Nori clarifies with a worried look, "Does that mean after I've been exiled?" Commander Aigiana gazes out the window, her expression thoughtful and distant. She vaguely replies, "Maybe, as a kingdom banner flutters outside." A few days later, the scene shifts to a library filled with books. Nori dozes at his desk, dreaming of news. A hero from the neighboring country has arrived. Alia sips her tea, confirming, "Yes, there will be a welcome party tomorrow." Nori, now awake, exclaims, "This is the first I've heard of this." As Alia explains, she must attend. Alia smirks, "Well, they said those who sleep through class don't need to attend. That's probably why." Nori, head on his desk, mutters, "I see. So they're leaving me out on purpose, huh?" The next day, confetti rains down from a bright blue sky amidst cheers. A grand parade proceeds, with knights on horseback proudly displaying green banners. The procession passes a stately building adorned with more banners, both pink and green. From a window, someone silently observes the festive commotion below. Back in his room, Nori wonders aloud, isn't the country going through tough times? He contemplates, with an event this grand, they probably wouldn't notice if I showed up to, right? But Nori realizes attending means explaining to foreign dignitaries he's an abnormal existence from the summoning. He worries that if an investigation team is dispatched to figure out the cause, that would be quite a hassle. Nori sighs, flopping back onto his bed. Nori sighs on his bed, unenthusiastic about watching others enjoy the festivities. Suddenly, his eye glows a menacing red, a strange symbol appearing within it. His vision shifts, now tinged with crimson, as he activates his mystic eyes of poetry. Through this power, he remotely views a grand, brightly lit hall, focusing on the dome ceiling. He spots Alia and a regal blonde woman, both elegantly dressed and smiling amidst the celebration. Nori, still in his room, remarks on how dressed up Alia looks, his red eyes still active. He observes Alia's polite smile, thinking it makes her look like a doll. His mystic sight pans across the lavish banquet, showing ornate candelabras. After viewing the opulent food spread, Nori lets out a weary sigh back in his room. He muses to himself, "It's just as Alia told me," recalling her words about the party. Alia, in a maid outfit, reveals information obtained via hypnosis. This party is a major cause of the economic crisis. Gold coins rain down, symbolizing the kingdom's dwindling finances due to the lavish spending. The queen, obsessed with displaying power, ignores the king's warnings about the nation's dire straits. Nori, his mystic eye still active, processes this grim information with a simple O. His remote vision pans to the party, where attendees whisper about Ryudo, the hero from the neighboring country. A girl from the visiting heroes party notes their own group also consists of 3 people. Nori's sight focuses on a gloomy boy among the visitors, feeling a strange sense of camaraderie. Still observing from afar, Nori turns his attention to another member of the foreign delegation. He spots a blonde individual who looks Japanese, deciding to assess this newcomer. The blonde hero, identified as Date Masayoshi, points assertively, as Nori internally remarks on his old-fashioned name. Nori observes Date Masayoshi shouting at Ryudo, thinking it's fitting for a hero. His mystic eye flares as Nori decides to read Masayoshi's lips. Masayoshi furiously demands, "Bring Takafudji Inori here immediately." He then declares, "I'm challenging him to a duel." The scene shifts. Alia, in her party dress, formally introduces someone as Lord Inori. Ryudo and his companions, including the girl who noticed their party size, look on. The gloomy boy and the pigtail girl from the foreign delegation are also watching. Nori, now present in simple clothes, explains, "After the party, I was summoned." Date Masayoshi, face to face with Nori, aggressively repeats, I challenge you to a duel. Nori stands silently as Alia looks on, surprised by Masayoshi's bold declaration. Ryudo and his party are visibly stunned by the sudden duel challenge. The gloomy boy and pigtail girl from the foreign delegation exchange exasperated glances. Nori, unfazed, calmly asks, why a duel of all things? Masayoshi passionately declares he'll prove to the goddess that Nori is unworthy. Nori ponders the goddess, as Masayoshi insists he knows what he's talking about. Masayoshi reveals Nori also visited that white space, showing a flashback of Nori's summoning. Masayoshi's determined face appears as he continues his explanation. A flashback shows Masayoshi himself before a radiant, ethereal goddess. The goddess smiles down as Masayoshi presses Nori. You met her, didn't you? Nori, still looking puzzled, questions the duel's connection to meeting the goddess. Masayoshi sheepishly admits, I proposed to her, leaving Nori to question proposed. With a clenched fist, Masayoshi confirms, yes, and then he grabs Nori, yelling the goddess's condition. She said if I could defeat Fujitaka Inori, she would consider it. Nori, though startled, begins to piece together Masayoshi's bizarre motivation. He recalls the winking goddess, realizing she's the instigator of this duel. Nori internally fumes. She pushed this troublesome thing onto me, vowing to give her a smack. Nearby, Ryudo looks utterly confused, muttering, white space? The gloomy boy and pigtail girl also exchange puzzled glances, questioning goddess. Nori deduces Ryudo's party might not know the white space, hinting at different summoning methods. Thinking explaining will be a hassle, Nori decides, I'll just play dumb for now. Nori, though still grabbed, calmly states, I'm not sure, but I accept the duel. Surprising Masayoshi. Masayoshi grins triumphantly, exclaiming, HMPH, good. As Masayoshi begins to speak, Nori cuts in, then we should decide the rules of the duel. Shocking him. Nori explains his lack of combat blessings and special physique, making Masayoshi scowl. He points out that a one-on-one fight would be unfair, as Ryudo's party listens intently. Nori casually questions if Masayoshi is the type to bully others with an unfair advantage. Masayoshi furiously retorts, don't make me laugh. I'll accept any kind of contest. The onlookers appear stunned as Nori internally labels Masayoshi simple-minded. Nori, with a knowing smile, suggests a training dungeon near the capital for their contest. He proposes the challenge. In that dungeon, the first one to defeat the boss on the first floor wins. Masayoshi smirks confidently, declaring, fine, I accept those conditions. Ryudo whispers urgently to Nori, questioning if he can beat a boss with only scouting abilities. Nori, with a slight smile, reassures Ryudo, don't worry, I have a plan. Masayoshi waves jauntily as he departs, the duel with date now set for the next day. And then, the scene cuts to the queen, seated on her throne, looking pensive. After the duel, Nori stands before a grand red carpet, asked, Are you Inori? The queen, looking down from her throne, demands, What was that disgraceful display in the dungeon? She continues, You were the one who changed the duel venue, and yet, you were overwhelmingly defeated. A flashback shows Masayoshi fiercely cutting down monsters, his swordsmanship rivaling a knight commander. The flashback reveals Masayoshi standing before the colossal one-eyed first-floor boss. The flashback shows Masayoshi's determined eyes, his sword poised to strike the dungeon boss. And that colossal boss, the queen narrates, was of course, defeated easily by him. Meanwhile, Nori explains he used his search skill, revealing a grid-like map of the dungeon. This allowed him to completely bypass enemies, traps, and even the boss. Nori admits to himself, the duel, by any account, was clearly my loss. The queen, with the king looking weary beside her, continues berating Nori for his laziness and incompetence. She states the knight commander vouched for his potential, but he's only brought disgrace. The queen's face hardens as she declares, I can't allow this any longer. Alia, in her party dress, looks on with a silent, perhaps sorrowful expression. With a furious shout, the queen points decisively, Inori, I hereby exile you from the kingdom. Nori faces the queen's wrath with an unnervingly calm, almost knowing expression. The queen, from her throne, declares, You have brought harm to this country. With a furious point, she reiterates, Inori, I hereby banish you from the kingdom. Alia watches the dramatic declaration, her expression unreadable but tinged with concern. Ryudo and the elf girl also observe the proceedings, their faces reflecting the gravity of the queen's judgment. The queen then challenges Nori, You have no objections, do you? But Nori calmly replies, I have an objection, Your Majesty, stunning the queen. He directly questions her accusation. You said I brought harm. What harm are you referring to? The queen, tapping her scepter, retorts, "What, didn't you lose the duel?" Nori confirms. "That is correct." A flashback shows Masayoshi's fierce determination, sword gleaming, during his victorious duel. A flashback shows Masayoshi, victorious and confident after defeating the dungeon boss. Nori, with a sharp gaze, states, "I lost the duel, but," he clarifies, "what was at stake in that duel was ** qualification **. The queen looks utterly bewildered, exclaiming, "What?" Nori explains the duel was to prove who was a * suitable man * for a certain woman, the goddess. He adds, "Furthermore, this duel had the condition that no information would be shared with outsiders." Nori declares, "Most importantly, I am not a hero, nor is my existence known to other nations." He continues, looking towards the king, "I am not someone who would tarnish the reputation of the Rising Sun Kingdom or Her Majesty." Nori finishes, as Alia listens. Nori concludes bluntly, "To put it simply, this duel was a farce," leaving the queen speechless. Nori declares, and while inside the dungeon, "It's not like I did nothing *." As guards approach, the guards step forward, their presence indicating a reveal is imminent. The queen looks on, a question mark appearing as she awaits Nori's explanation. Nori stands confidently as the guards present two large, heavy sacks before him. He announces with a smile, "I have prepared a small gift," as gold peeks from a sack. The sacks are dramatically open, spilling forth an astonishing hoard of gold coins and jewels. Both the queen and a young noble girl beside her stare in wide-eyed shock at the treasure. Nori explains he found this treasure, making an effort to bring back a gift since winning was unlikely. The queen picks up a single gold coin, a subtle, intrigued smile playing on her lips. Nori smirks, revealing, "Using my blessing of * detection *, it was quite easy. I used the duel." Nori explains his true goal was to use the duel to prove his * worth * with this treasure. Alia stares in utter disbelief, a bead of sweat trickling down her face. Nori states coolly, "The hero left in high spirits and the matter was resolved." As Alia watches, the scene shifts to a dark forest at night, bats taking flight against the moonlit sky. Nori, with bloodied hands and mouth, remarks his banishment is settled, giving him more hunting time. He's shown emerging from a shadowy hollow within a tree, a hunter in his element. Crouching in the undergrowth, Nori admits he's tired of eating only kecho, whatever that may be. A thoughtful hub escapes Nori's lips, a trace of blood still on his chin. He observes, "It's happening again. The orientation of this forest is strange sometimes." Nori notes that only his * detection skill allows him to sense the forest's subtle, unsettling shifts. Nori, blood still on his chin, ponders if his * detection skill is key to the forest oddities. His eye transforms, glowing red with a mystical symbol * evil eye of perception *, illusion unveiled. With one eye now crimson, Nori smirks confidently, "Bingo." He faces a vibrant, distorted landscape, questioning if this unease stems from using a skill native to this world. Nori clarifies that his * evil eye of perception * is an ability from another world entirely. Shadowy wolves with glowing eyes emerge as Nori considers hunting stronger prey. Then kecho deeper in. He decides to scout the strange forest before dawn, ready to teleport if danger arises. A large, spectral wolf with an ethereal blue aura leads its pack through the eerie woods. A terrifying close-up reveals a monstrous, glowing blue eye above a drooling, fangmaw. Bloodied but undeterred, Nori strides into the psychedelic, shifting depths of the forest. Nori, bloodied, reacts with sudden alarm to an unseen threat. A pack of fierce, white wolves with glowing blue eyes lunges towards him. He realizes these are magical gray wolves, surprised by their pack behavior. Nori's bloodied hand conjures dark, tendril-like energy, unleashing his black death web. With glowing eyes, he casts the web, purple strands ensnaring the area around him. The battle rages under the silent gaze of the full moon. Nori winces, a fresh scratch marking his face, his eye glowing intensely. He observes the ensnared wolves, admitting their strength in numbers makes them tough opponents. A sinister smile crosses Nori's face as he anticipates leveling up and feeding. The scene shifts to a distant, moonlit cliff face, hinting at the forest vastness. The camera pans over a dark, moonlit river flowing through the eerie forest. Nori, still bloodied, stands by the water's edge, a thoughtful expression on his face. A lone, ancient tree stands sentinel under the full moon, casting long shadows. He ventures deeper, navigating a narrow path through the dense, moon-drenched woods. Nori pauses, blood staining his shirt, a silent contemplation in the unsettling quiet. Facing a colossal tree, he mutters, "This feels like a boss is going to show up." Yet a smirk plays on his lips as he adds, "Let's not get ahead of ourselves." Suddenly, an enormous spectral wolf with glowing blue eyes and gaping maw lunges at him. The force of the unseen attack sends Nori reeling, his face contorted in shock. His eyes blaze with power, but his arm disintegrates into dark particles against a blood-red backdrop. Nori stares in horror, his arm dissolving into dark particles before his eyes. The massive spectral wolf continues its ferocious, high-speed lunge. He's violently slammed backward, the force of the blow overwhelming him. Nori hits the ground hard, a pained AAH erupting from him. Bloodied and stunned, he questions, What just happened? The attacker stands revealed, a fearsome Fenrir wolf-type phantom beast, radiating blue energy. A PH phantom beast, Nori realizes, not an ordinary monster. He glances at his shoulder, the grim reality of his missing arm sinking in. Peeking from behind a tree, Nori gulps, isn't that a mid-level boss? He contemplates escaping into the shadows, but worries the beast will simply wait for him. The Fenrir unleashes a blindingly fast energy attack from its maw. Nori barely registers the colossal wolf's gaping jaws, exclaiming, "It's fast." The beast's powerful paw smashes into the ground where Nori just stood. The Fenrir snarls, its glowing eyes fixed on its prey, surprised by the miss. Nori sprouts demonic wings, soaring into the moonlit sky, evading the attack. A brief, contrasting image shows two elegantly dressed women, one beaming with excitement. Hovering above, Nori admits his rarely used vampire ability proved crucial for escape. The giant wolf glares up, his voice booming. Why did you come here? Nori, surprised, mutters, "It's Hawks. Well, it is a phantom beast, after all." Perched on a cliff, Nori coolly replies, "TSK, if you're asking why I'm here, I'd say I got lost." The Fenrir scoffs, "Got lost? Breaking my illusion to enter wasn't easy." Nori admits his curiosity drove him past the illusion, suspecting something important lay hidden. The beast declares Nori an intruder who killed its kin, vowing he won't leave alive. Nori, bloodied, considers the wolf's grave pronouncement with a thoughtful HMM. From the clifftop, Nori taunts, "Judging by your tone, this must be a pretty important place, huh?" He presses further, "So, this place is quite important then." Nori smirks, his red eye gleaming, "Very well, I'll tell you. As a gift on your way to the afterlife." The Fenrir reveals, "This is the land where we made a pact with the witch." Nori's eyes widen slightly, one red, one normal, as he echoes, "A witch?" The Fenrir explains, "According to that pact, we have been protecting this land." As an image of a mysterious witch appears, the Fenrir's glowing eye narrows as it reveals its duty. "So, we've been eliminating dangerous and tough monsters." Nori listens, his own crimson eye glinting, as the beast declares, "Of course. An intruder like you is also a target for elimination." With a vicious snarl, the wolf offers a grim choice, "If you stay still, I'll kill you less painfully," then hesitates, surprised. Nori examines his newly regenerated, glowing pink arm, musing, "My regenerative power is better than I imagined." The Fenrir stares, realizing, "You bastard. You're no ordinary person. In that case, there's even less reason to let you live." The beast roars, lunging with furious blue energy. Nori grunts, "Yuck," caught off guard by the sheer ferocity of the renewed assault. A devastating blow connects with a deafening quang, the Fenrir's power shaking the air. Nori's mystic eye strains, "I can barely read your attacks. But it would be difficult to escape like this." The wolf's attack sends Nori reeling through the air with a sharp tack of impact. Nori, with his glowing red eye, plans to fly low and escape through the forest. He tumbles downwards, the spectral wolf looming above on the cliff edge. Suddenly, sharp blue energy projectiles rain down from the beast. Nori braces midair as the deadly beams streak past his falling form. The forest below erupts as the energy blasts decimate the trees. The Fenrir stands majestically, its icy blue aura crackling with power. A single guided wisp of blue energy curves through the darkness, seeking its target. Nori, now grounded and wincing in pain, sports a fresh gash on his cheek. Before he can recover, the massive Fenrir lunges, its jaws wide for a killing bite. A powerful explosion rocks the forest floor where the attack lands. Nori, battered, realizes hypnosis magic is useless against such raw power. Desperately seeking escape, suddenly a nearby waterfall catches his attention, sparking a potential idea. With renewed determination, Nori vows, "Damn it, I'm going to get out of this forest." The colossal Fenrir, crackling with azure lightning, dives towards the fleeing, winged Nori. Nori cries out as sharp energy beams pierce through his wings and body. The Fenrir's massive paw, wreathed in blue fire, slams down with immense force. A cruel smirk plays on the Fenrir's muzzle, confident in its overwhelming power. It lunges again, roaring a furious DE at the downed Nori. Nori, pinned but defiant, smirks back, dark tendrils coiling around his hand. His hand transforms, sprouting sharp, shadowy claws, ready for a desperate counter. Nori summons a barricade of sharp shadow spikes from the ground, narrowly deflecting the Fenrir's attack. The colossal wolf recoils, its glowing blue eyes wide with surprise at the sudden defense. What's that? The Fenrir roars, as Nori reveals he stashed the shadow trap just in case. Impaled by his own spikes, but resolute, Nori glares back, his crimson eye burning. Despite his gambit, Nori acknowledges with a grimace, it's still a dangerous situation, though. The Fenrir's face contorts in a furious snarl, its fangs bared and eyes blazing. Towering over the makeshift defense, the beast glares down at the trapped Nori. Nori considers his options. I want to escape using my teleportation skill, but a flashback reveals Nori's mystic eye currently stores a hypnosis spell, showing ensnared wolves. He realizes to alter his mystic eye's power, he must imprint a new magic circle onto it. Nori, crimson eye blazing, resolves, I have to buy some time. His hand gestures, coaxing more shadow spikes from the dark energy below. The Fenrir, wreathing crackling blue fury, glares with murderous intent. Surrounded by his shadowy defense, Nori desperately thinks, I need to find an opening. Dark purple energy erupts around Nori, coalescing into a stronger, more formidable barrier. The colossal wolf charges, roaring in disbelief. What did you do this time? Nori grits his teeth, acknowledging the grim reality. He's too strong. The Fenrir's massive, glowing maw lunges, threatening to engulf Nori completely. Suddenly, 3 immense shadow pillars, crackling with purple energy, shoot up from the earth. The Fenrir smashes headfirst into the unexpected shadow constructs, its attack momentarily thwarted. The Fenrir scoffs, useless, such a sloppy attack won't work on me. With a furious burst of blue energy, the beast shatters Nori's shadow constructs. Nori cries out, ugh, as the force of the impact sends him reeling. A sharp stab indicates Nori takes another hit from the relentless assault. Nori's crimson eye narrows. I don't need to dodge everything. I just have to protect my legs and heart to escape. The massive wolf, crackling with power, towers over the injured Nori. The Fenrir's piercing blue eyes glare. What a persistent guy. Suddenly, a grid of glowing purple lines appears, a new trap forming. Nori, battered but standing, reveals his new technique, Black Death Silk. The deadly purple threads constrict, binding the remnants of the shadow pillars. The Fenrir's eyes widen in shock as the purple threads begin to bind it. Arg, the colossal wolf roars, ensnared by Nori's Black Death Silk. Nori smirks, his crimson eye gleaming. If it's this might just work. The deadly purple threads snap taut, constricting around the forest and the beast. Glowing tendrils of dark magic weave a complex, inescapable net. But the Fenrir scoffs, blue energy flaring. This won't even leave a scratch on me. Nori gasps in disbelief. He broke through the Black Death Silk. With grim resolve, Nori decides, at this point, I have no choice but to use that asterisk method. Nori charges headlong into the maelstrom of the Fenrir's power. He sprints directly towards the lunging beast, a desperate plan forming. Nori, his crimson eye blazing, desperately hopes, please let this work. He makes a swift, decisive movement, a blur against the chaos. Nori shoots a glowing white thread, launching himself high above the trees under the moonlight. The Fenrir scoffs from below, blue lightning crackling, flying away. How foolish. A torrent of azure energy erupts upwards from the colossal wolf. The Fenrir taunts, what an easy target, as energy beams surround the airborne Nori. Suddenly, Nori's other eye flashes a brilliant gold, a new magic circle appearing within it. Glowing golden threads begin to weave rapidly between the forest trees. The golden threads tighten, constricting the trees, forming an intricate web. Nori stands firm as the Fenrir finds itself caught within a vast, glowing golden net on the forest floor. Nori smirks, his golden eye blazing as a voice declares, Jin's mystic eyes has race storage complete. With his mystic eye now fully charged, Nori's triumphant grin widens. The intricate golden magic circle within his eye spins rapidly as he shouts, activate. Golden light erupts around Nori, his mystic eye unleashing its teleportation power. The Fenrir looks up in shock, roaring, he disappeared, did he escape? From above, a battered Nori confirms that was the plan. He hovers within his teleportation circle, directly above the snarling, trapped Fenrir. Nori, with both crimson and golden eyes alight, declares, but I thought I'd at least say goodbye. The Fenrir's massive blue eye widens, reflecting an impending doom. In a flash of red, Nori plunges down, striking a decisive blow against the colossal beast. The Fenrir howls in agony as Nori's strike connects, blood erupting from its wound. Nori, his dual-colored eyes blazing, declares, just taking hits isn't my style. Enraged, the beast bellows, you dare to make me cry. Its blue aura flaring wildly. Nori stands firm, bracing against the shockwave of the Fenrir's furious energy. He admits with a grimace, I was so pissed off because my eye got hurt. The injured wolf turns, and Nori wonders, he's looking this way. Realization dawns as the Fenrir sniffs the air. No, he's pinpointing my position by scent. A bead of sweat rolls down Nori's face. The killing intent is overwhelming. The colossal wolf lunges, its gaping maw ready to devour him. Nori, bathed in golden light, resolves it's time to go. A golden teleportation circle hovers where Nori just vanished, the Fenrir looking up in disbelief. The beast roars, he escaped, as the last traces of Nori's magic fade. Later, a battered Nori lies in bed, panting. Next time, I'll kill him. He reflects with frustration. I couldn't even manage to do more than injure him. Clenching his fist with resolve, Nori vows, next time, for sure. His determination echoes as a grand building appears. I will win. Nori narrates, from that day on, I began reworking my equipment, showing an array of weapons. He recalls, I infiltrated the fifth armory as he peeks from cover. His dual-colored eyes gleam as he examines a newly acquired sword, and obtains some metals and materials that could be used. Nori reveals a crucial preparation, and for emergencies, I had collected that Fenrir's fur. Nori admits collecting the Fenrir's fur was tough. Its properties listed: crystallization, hardening, and miniaturization. He holds a tuft of the blue fur, deciding, let's appraise it. As Nori channels magic, the fur glows purple, confirming, so it hardens when exposed to magic. He muses thoughtfully. No wonder attacks don't work when it's covered in this stuff. A spark of inspiration hits Nori, golden light flaring. Then, what if I made a weapon using this fur? Weapon creation. Nori, with a determined look, manipulates glowing purple threads swirling around him. The intricate web of purple threads is revealed, a text box naming it Gleipnir. He examines the threads, a description noting, it can't be torn no matter what force is applied. When magic is poured in, it crystallizes. Nori's eyes, one crimson and one gold, focus as he recalls. Gleipnir was the shackle that bound Fenrir in mythology. He looks intently at the purple thread in his hand. All right, using this thread. Purple lightning crackles, signifying the potent magic at play. He's crafted black gloves infused with Gleipnir threads, exhibiting multiple hardening and crystallization properties. Nori reveals a golden magic circle now visible on the glove, activated by controlled crystallization. He ponders, his crimson eye focused, if possible, a new plan forming. Nori is now dressed in sharp, formal attire, complete with smart boots. His new outfit includes a tailored suit jacket, vest, and a distinctive pin. Standing tall, Nori looks dapper and ready in his sophisticated ensemble. A menacing grin spreads across Nori's face, purple aura flaring. All right, it's time for revenge. A brilliant golden beam strikes a forest clearing, signaling Nori's dramatic return. The Fenrir, still radiating blue energy, looks up sharply, sensing the disturbance. Nori stands amidst golden flames, casually greeting the beast. Hey? He smirks, his dual-colored eyes glinting. It's been a day. The Fenrir snarls, blue aura flaring, shameless to set foot on this land again. Towering over Nori, the colossal wolf roars, its maw wide with fury. Nori looks up, a slight grin playing on his lips. Your eyes are impressive, Fenrir. The beast lunges with blinding speed, shouting shut up, as Nori narrowly avoids a swipe. Nori, dodging, thinks, even though you can't see, your accuracy is unbelievable. The Fenrir glares, its voice dripping with menace. You've trespassed here twice now, this time. I will never let you leave alive. Nori's golden eye focuses, noting. His rage over the trespass far exceeds the pain of his eye injury. Persistent bastard. Nori sidesteps a massive claw strike, remarking, fine, that sword is quite to my liking. Fenrir. Nori's golden eye gleams as he declares, I like it so much, I could kill you for it. The Fenrir roars furiously, its blue aura blazing around its bared fangs. Dark, shadowy energy with crimson outlines erupts from Nori's hands. 3 shadowy wolf-like figures, eyes glowing red, manifest around Nori. The Fenrir recoils in utter shock, its eyes wide with disbelief. One of Nori's shadow wolves lunges, a blur of dark energy, towards the colossal beast. The shadow wolf sinks its fangs deep into the Fenrir's flank. What the hell is this? The Fenrir bellows, stunned by the unexpected attack. Nori smirks, his crimson eye glowing. You can tell by scent even if you can't see, right? He continues that it originally used to be one of your kin, as Fenrir stares in horror. The Fenrir roars in fury. You bastard. What did you do to my kin? Nori coolly replies, it seemed rather useful, so I made it my servant. Enraged, the Fenrir violently thrashes the shadow wolf, attacking it. Nori's eyes widen in surprise at the Fenrir's brutal counter. A powerful blast of blue energy sends Nori flying backwards with a grunt. Nori smirks, it's not completely ineffective, but it's enough to buy me some time. The Fenrir sinks its teeth into Nori's arm, but his Gleipnir-infused glove holds. Nori strains, his enhanced glove barely withstanding the crushing force of Fenrir's bite. His other two shadow wolves begin to move, red eyes glowing in the forest. The remaining shadow wolves slink through the trees, preparing their assault. Nori takes a moment, leaning against a tree, his purple aura still faintly visible. Fenrir, enraged, sees Nori as the enemy of my kin. With a sharp grin, Nori utters the word, teleport. A blinding flash indicates Nori narrowly evades Fenrir's furious strike. Fenrir growls in frustration, escaped again. Nori reappears, hovering high in the air beneath a glowing golden magic circle. The colossal wolf looks up sharply, realizing Nori's new position, above. Fenrir slams its massive paw into the earth where Nori just was. The beast launches itself skyward, a blur of blue fur and fury, trying to reach him. Nori smirks down, his dual-colored eyes glinting. Escaped. You say? It's the opposite, Fenrir. Fenrir looks up, utterly bewildered by Nori's taunt as glowing purple lines crisscross the air. Suddenly, the colossal wolf is ensnared, its body contorting as the purple threads tighten around it. Even one of Nori's shadow wolves, caught in the web, curses its predicament. The shadow wolves realize with dawning horror they couldn't even smell this intricate trap. Nori stands serenely above the chaos, the architect of this inescapable web of light. Fenrir, bound and furious, roars at Nori. What did you do? You bastard. Nori reveals his trump card. This is a thread spun from your own fur. You can no longer escape. His eyes gleam with triumph, reiterating that Fenrir is now completely at his mercy. The beast thrashes, still disbelieving. What kind of trick is this? Nori clenches his fist, a dark aura flaring, and commands the threads, shrink. Nori invokes Gleipnir, purple energy intensifying around him as the threads constrict. Fenrir's eyes pop in disbelief and agony as the magical threads tighten. The glowing purple threads slice deeper into Fenrir's blue fur, the tension palpable. Even Fenrir's massive paw is ensnared, the threads digging in with immense force. The colossal wolf crashes to the ground, its body contorting under the crushing pressure. Fenrir lets out a strangled roar of pain, its blue aura flaring against the constricting threads. Nori lands calmly, revealing a thread made from your fur. That's why it smells like you. You probably didn't realize it right away. His golden eye sharp, Nori explains, taking hits from your attacks over and over. He continues, provoking you and making you angry. It was all to distract you from the thread. As Fenrir glares, trapped. Unseen by Fenrir, Nori's shadow wolves continue their silent advance through the trees. Nori reveals his teleportation was a feint, leaving Fenrir with no escape. With dark energy swirling, Nori bids a chilling farewell. Fenrir. He clenches his fist, the Gleipnir threads constricting with immense power. From the shadows, Nori's three spectral wolves finally emerge, eyes burning red. The shadow wolves snarl, preparing to join the final assault on the trapped beast. Fenrir, ensnared, questions if this is its demise and the end of its pact. The full moon hangs high in the night sky, witnessing the battle's grim conclusion. Nori coughs blood, the strain of the battle and his power taking a visible toll. Standing over the fallen Fenrir, a notification reveals Nori leveled up 5 times and gained new skills. Nori looks puzzled at the list of newly acquired skills, a curious escaping him. Among his new abilities, a unique skill vessel of the king appears, puzzling Nori. Suddenly, a voice calls out Master, and Nori, bloodied, looks up in surprise. One of his shadow wolves speaks, equally shocked. It can talk. Suddenly, I'm able to speak. Nori wonders if the vessel of the king's skill is responsible for this new development. He questions if this power extends to his subordinates, as the wolf asks why it was called. The shadow wolf gestures to the fallen Fenrir, my former master. Can't you make him one of your subordinates? It explains Fenrir fought to protect the land and everyone, wishing for him to become an ally. After a moment of thought, Nori agrees. Fine, I'll do it, earning a grateful thank you, master. Nori muses that recruiting Fenrir has no downside for him anyway. Standing over the defeated beast, Nori admits to himself, I'm so tired. The scene shifts to a lavish meal spread across a table. A character muses, I've thought this for a while, their hand gesturing thoughtfully. A young man at the table observes, the first princess and second princess don't seem to get along very well. A girl with reddish hair counters while eating, it's not that. The second princess is just reserved, don't you think? Another girl with short black hair considers this, replying, I'm not sure. Nori, eating, internally notes the first princess's glances and then reacts with disgust. There's garlic in this. The young man then turns to Nori. Anyway, I was hoping Inori could help, catching him by surprise. Nori, startled, demands, why is my name coming up now? The black-haired girl suggests, You could ask Temaki or Aoi since you're girls too. The young man explains Nori is closer to the second princess and should help mend their relationship. Nori scoffs, that stuck-up princess wouldn't even talk to me. But the young man assures him, if I ask her, she'll listen. Nori, with a skeptical look, asks why as the young man smirks, beginning because. The young man confidently declares, the first princess is completely smitten with me. The two girls at the table exchange unimpressed glances, one thinking, is this who Ryudo really is? His reputation is plummeting fast. Ryudo sweetens the deal for Nori. If I ask the first princess, I'll get you a day off every week. And Nori instantly shouts, deal. Nori knocks on a door, muttering to himself, I said yes, but will this even work? The first princess, with pigtails and a haughty expression, exclaims, you've arrived. I heard from Ryudo that you were coming. Enter at once, you commoner. Nori, already regretting his decision, thinks, what a welcome right off the bat. I want to go home. An ornate blue and white vase sits on a table as the princess grandly states, I'll allow you to speak with me personally. The scene shows more opulent decor as the princess finishes, consider yourself grateful. Nori internally notes the room's luxuriousness, though he finds the interior design inconsistent. The princess smirks, fascinated, are you? You'd never see these kinds of things in your lifetime. Nori points at a strange bird statue, asking if all these items are to the first princess's taste. Of course not, she retorts, they're gifts from mother and other countries. How ignorant. Nori, eager to leave, states, anyway, I'm here to talk about the second princess. What? The princess exclaims, as if I'd ever be concerned about her. Nori sighs internally, thinking, this isn't going anywhere. The princess continues her denial. There's no way I'd be worried about that person. Nori calmly reminds her, I was asked to help you to make up, you know? Flustered, the princess stammers, I don't particularly want to make up. Nori presses, you don't want to make up. The flustered princess snaps, it's none of your business, commoner. Nori sighs, thinking, oh no, this is going nowhere. I guess I'll have to try that asterisk method. He then states, it can't be helped then. I came here because I heard it was for the sake of both of them to Ryudo. The princess panics. If Ryudo finds out the princess refused to talk, he'll be upset for setting up this opportunity. She quickly backtracks. Wait a minute. I was just about to explain everything in detail. You're so impatient. While Nori smirks, wow, this really works. The princess, now brushing her hair, begins. Things weren't always like this between us. Nori rests his chin on his arms, listening with a slightly bored expression. She continues, when we were younger, we got along much better. A flashback shows a younger, laughing princess having her hair brushed by her smiling older sister. The flashback shows the two young princesses, once joyful, with the older sister reading to an excited younger sibling. But a hint of confusion crosses the younger princess's face even then. The first princess explains, but at some point, she started keeping her distance from me. As the older sister walks away, when I turned 7, I became the first princess and was given the right to inherit the throne. She recounts, her younger self crowned. Then came a shocking revelation, and then I found out that she wasn't actually my mother's real daughter. The young princess looks up, a profound sadness dawning in her eyes. She stood alone, the weight of her new reality settling in. From that point on, the first princess states, our relationship turned out like this. Nori listens as she describes undergoing strict successor training to become queen. A heavy burden for a child. And I realized. The princess trails off. A flashback showing her younger self looking up at her sister, a painful memory. The first princess realized her sister was truly exceptional and kind. She sighs, often wishing her sister was still on her side. But the adults wouldn't allow it, and the rift between them only grew deeper. Her eyes well up with sadness as she recounts the past. That's all there is to it, she concludes, looking downcast. Nori thinks, so this is the first princess's true feelings. Her arrogant attitude is from adult influence. He observes the inconsistent room decor, noting there's no trace of self anywhere. Everything, including the furniture, was provided, shaping her identity. Nori deduces that relying on status is her only way to affirm her sense of self. The princess, impatient, demands, what's with you, say something. I'll at least listen to your advice. Nori muses that her pride seems deeply ingrained in her nature. He boldly suggests, just tell her from now on, I'll call you my sister, shocking the princess. Flustered, she protests. How could I? What would the maids say? Nori smirks, so, maids outrank the first princess here. Who decides how a princess acts? Isn't it you? Yourself? Nori challenges, leaving her wide-eyed. The princess hesitates, worrying, but, saying that might cause trouble for her. Nori reassures her, The second princess isn't as weak as you think she is. She looks down, considering his words, a thoughtful silence hanging in the air. Blushing, the princess concedes, fine, I'll consider it. HMPH, I'm grateful for this. Nori casually replies, yeah, as he seems to make a move to leave. Nori concludes his report to Miss Nala, who simply responds, I see. Nala, with a hint of reluctance, agrees, understood. I'm not thrilled, but I'll deliver the message. He notes her lukewarm reaction, attributing it to her loyalty to the second princess. The scene shifts to the next day, showing a grand building under a bright sky. Miss Nala greets Nori cheerfully, announcing, Good morning, Lord Inori. A message from the second princess. A sleepy Nori stretches, questioning, Good morning, Miss Nala. A message. She reveals, today, there will be a special lesson, different from the usual, piquing Nori's curiosity. Nori's expression turns wary as he thinks, I have a bad feeling about this. The view pans over a bustling, sunlit street in the capital city. The second princess, dressed casually, urges Nori forward, hurry up Inori. As he follows her and Nala, Nori questions incredulously, You're having class in a place like this? The princess explains it's social studies and today, he'll accompany her shopping. He asks with a bead of sweat, What are you shopping for? She walks ahead, pondering, under the bright city sky. The second princess suggests, Should we look at accessories? Eyeing a colorful display. Nala remarks the first princess rarely buys for herself, as the second princess examines the items. A slight blush dusts the second princess's cheeks as she considers. She turns to Nori, asking earnestly, Nori, which one looks prettier? Nori, scratching his head, casually replies, They both look good. The princess clarifies, looking down, Oh, this one. It's not mine. Confusion crosses Nori's face, a question mark appearing above him. Nala whispers the secret. They're buying a birthday gift for the first princess. Thanks to Nori's advice. A flashback shows the first princess alone on a balcony. Deep in thought after Nala relayed Nori's message. Determined, the first princess had declared with a blush, Tomorrow, we'll buy a present for my younger sister. Understanding dawns on Nori, who then asks the second princess, But why my opinion on the gift? The second princess hesitates, turning slightly away, a silent pause hanging between them. She admits, You met her yesterday, Inori. I thought you'd know her taste better than I do now. He privately doubts he knows her taste from one chat, while the second princess sighs. I think whatever gift I give will be fine. The second princess, misinterpreting his expression, asks with wide, hurt eyes, So, you mean my gift? Is it useless? Caught off guard by her sudden distress, Nori can only manage a hesitant, well. Nori quickly reassures her, Isn't it important who the giver is? He adds, I think anything chosen by the princess herself will be great. The second princess seems to think he's kind, while Nori just wants to sleep. Blushing slightly, she replies with a gentle smile, I understand. The princess confidently approaches the shopkeeper, ready to make her choice. Nala confides in Nori, If you hadn't brought it up, I wouldn't have thought of this. With a serene smile, the second princess holds the chosen gift box. Nala beams, I'm really glad I can see the princess smile again. Nori watches them, a pensive expression on his face. The princess interrupts, What are you two talking about? As Nala nervously yells, Nothing. The second princess cheerfully offers, Should we go have lunch? I'll treat you today. 5 days later, a lavish spread of food hints at a grand occasion. Nori, sharply dressed, reveals he's been specially invited to the first princess's birthday party. He observes the extravagant meals, noting only high-status individuals are present. The second princess gently styles her older sister's hair, placing a gift accessory. A close-up shows the elegant gold and red gemmed hairpiece being secured. The first princess, now adorned with the gift and a crown, turns to ask, How does it look? Her younger sister beams, as expected, It suits you very well. The first princess's eyes widen in delighted surprise, her expression joyful. Overjoyed, she exclaims, Thank you, to her sister, radiating happiness. Nori, Nala, and the second princess join the applause for the heartwarming sisterly moment. Other distinguished guests also clap, celebrating the first princess's joy. Nori spots the prime minister, briefly considering security matters before dismissing them. He then scans the room, wondering, But where's the second princess? Nori quickly locates her, peeking nervously from behind a grand pillar. She clutches her gift, looking incredibly anxious despite it just being a conversation with her sister. The first princess is currently engaged with another guest, making Nori think it's a bad time to interrupt. He contemplates intervening anyway, even on his supposed day off. The second princess spots Nori, flustered, and stammers, Nori, what should I say? Nori tries to lighten her mood. You kicked me once before, so don't feel too bad. confusing her completely. Nori mentally prods her. Where did your boldness from back then go, recalling her previous kick? With a startled EK and a Hia, the second princess is suddenly shoved. She stumbles forward, crying Inori, as Nori gives her a literal push towards her sister. Now face to face, the second princess blushes intensely before the surprised first princess. Nearby guests with indistinct faces turn to observe the sudden interaction. More onlookers in the grand hall witness the second princess's abrupt approach. Nori leans back coolly, a silent, hanging over him as he watches his plan unfold. The first princess's eyes widen slightly, a soft blush appearing as she awaits her sister's words. The second princess, though blushing furiously, gathers her resolve. She stands before her older sister, nervously hiding the gift box behind her back. Whispers ripple through the crowd as guests turn their attention. The murmuring intensifies, all eyes now fixed on the royal sisters. Nori observes the scene, internally sighing at the dramatic tension. He mentally urges the second princess, just give her the gift already. A bead of sweat rolls down the second princess's face as she prepares to speak. She finally presents the gift box, exclaiming, "Happy birthday." Blushing deeply, the second princess announces, "I brought a gift for you, sister." The first princess, equally flustered, reaches out to accept the present. With a soft click, the first princess's gloved hands begin to open the box. Her eyes widen in pure surprise as she gazes upon the contents. The first princess exclaims, "Wait a moment, I want to use this right now." Her sister's eyes widen, pleasantly surprised by such immediate enthusiasm. "Please," the first princess insists, blushing with excitement for her new gift. With a gentle smile, the second princess helps adorn her sister's hair with the ornament. The elegant gold and red gem band now sits perfectly in the first princess's hair. Turning to her sister, the first princess asked hopefully, "How does it look?" The second princess beams, "As expected, it suits you very well." Pure delight washes over the first princess's face, her eyes sparkling brightly. "Thank you," she exclaims, her joy evident to everyone in the hall. Nori, Nala, and the other guests applaud the heartwarming sisterly moment once more. The first princess blushes, adding, "And I'd like to receive one more gift." Her younger sister looks down, face flushed, as the first princess awaits. The first princess is visibly stunned by her sister's unexpected words. The second princess, still blushing, shyly asks, "Is that not okay?" The first princess's eyes widen, a wave of emotion washing over her. A tender flashback shows the first princess brushing her younger sister's hair. Tears of joy stream down the first princess's face. "No way, I'm really happy." The second princess looks up, surprised by her sister's overwhelming happiness. The first princess takes a decisive step forward in her elegant golden shoes. She rushes to embrace her younger sister, joyfully exclaiming, "Older sister." The first princess tearfully embraces her younger sister, whispering, "Amanda." Nori observes them, thinking the sister's problem is now resolved, a slight question in his eyes. Even the king and queen are moved to tears, the queen exclaiming, "I'm glad, Amanda." Nala approaches Nori, praising, "Inori, leaving this to you was a good idea." Nori smirks slightly, internally noting, "I worked hard alone, so I'll be getting my due reward." Nala winks playfully, I'll think about it, thank you so much." The second princess laughs joyfully as her older sister smiles, relieved they've made up. Nala, hands on hips, beams at the scene, remarking, "It's really great." Nori watches Nala, thinking, "What a good person, that's the kind of thing that makes you a hero." As Nori turns to leave, Nala asks, "Where are you going?" To which he replies, "Just getting some fresh air." Nori stands on a balcony, gazing at the orange-hued sky. Nala joins him from behind, softly calling out, "Inori." With a warm smile, Nala says, "Thank you. No, I came to talk." Nori, still looking outward, tells her, "Feel free to talk. No one else is around." Nala knowingly remarks, "You use detection. It's such a useful blessing." He turns slightly, a pensive expression on his face against the sunset. Nala teases, "I guess it's better to express emotions a little." But Nori retorts about her own bluntness. Suddenly, a sword tip appears, dripping with dark, ominous blood. Back inside the hall, the guests look on with expressions of shock and alarm. Nori muses from the balcony, "I guess you won't be called the doll princess anymore." A sudden, violent sound erupts from the hall, startling Nori and Nala. Nala stares in wide-eyed horror, a tremor of shock running through her. The first princess falls, her golden hair tragically stained dark red. Screams for the king and queen echo through the terrified ballroom. "Silence, you corrupt fools," a powerful voice bellows through the chaos. Soldiers stand grimly as accusations against the crown fill the air. A discarded, bloody dagger tells a grim tale of the queen's supposed greed. The king and queen are gone, their thrones now empty and gruesomely marked. Videre, claiming royal lineage, fiercely announces his intent to take the crown. A dark shoe steps deliberately near the chilling evidence on the polished floor. Vidare declares, and Igiana will be the queen, as she smirks confidently. Nala gasps the knight commander, while Nori observes the shocking betrayal. Amanda kneels in despair, whispering, "Mother," amidst the unfolding tragedy. Hearing her name called, Amanda glares, her voice filled with fury. "You madman, Vidare." A powerful pink aura erupts around Amanda as she screams in defiance. Amanda unleashes a devastating energy blast straight towards Vidare on the throne. Igiana, the newly declared queen, watches Amanda's attack with cold resolve. With swift precision, Igiana intercepts Amanda's power, a blue energy clashing violently. Tears stream down Amanda's face as she witnesses the horrifying turn of events. A desperate hand reaches out as a piercing scream echoes through the hall. Amanda collapses to the ground, struck down with force. Her golden pauldron clatters away as she cries out in pain. Nori screams Amanda's name, his face a mask of shock and fury. Igiana coolly warns Ryudo. "Don't move, Ryudo." Standing over Amanda, Igiana threatens, "If you attack, you won't die peacefully either." Vidare roars, "We are the children and people of the witch." A noblewoman condemns Amanda for betraying the witch's will by summoning heroes. Amanda's bloodied pauldron lies discarded, a symbol of her defeat. The woman declares Amanda's actions a grave sin, punishable only by death. Amanda whispers "sister," as a blood-stained sword looms, hinting at the first princess's fate. Igiana stands resolute as Amanda cries out, defeated on the floor. A chilling demand echoes, "Return to the witch's side," amidst a bloody scene. Nala gasps in utter disbelief, her eyes wide with horror at the unfolding massacre. Nori grits his teeth, a desperate no, escaping him as he watches. From the balcony, Nala screams Amanda's name in anguish. Peeking into the hall, they see Igiana standing amidst the carnage, sword in hand. Nori quickly covers Nala's mouth, warning, "If you make a sound, you'll be discovered." His eyes narrow, realizing the horrifying truth, a rebellion. Nori observes Igiana's calm demeanor, thinking, quite a flamboyant event. Vidare bellows to his followers, "Send these foolish ones to the witch's side. Punish them." Panic erupts as nobles scream, their faces contorted in terror. A rebel soldier mercilessly strikes down a fleeing noblewoman. Another noble cries out in agony as a blade finds its mark. A dying man is accused. "These people corrupted the country." He collapses, the rebels proclaiming, "They deserve to die." Nori urgently covers Nala's mouth, whispering, "Calm down." Tears stream from Nala's eyes. Nori warns, "If you go now, you'll die too." He presents a grim choice, die a worthless death here, or run away and survive. Nori insists, his grip firm. A desperate hand reaches out amidst a chaotic, dark splatter. A hand flails amidst dark, splattering chaos, a life slipping away. Nori stands grimly over another victim of the brutal purge. He looks down at the fallen noble, muttering, "Don't be ridiculous." Nori then screams in defiance, "There's no such thing as a person who deserves to die." Vidare observes Nori's outburst, remarking, "The hero is still young." Facing the new tyrant, Nori hears Vidare declare, "All the nobles here are scum unworthy of life." Vidare continues, "You have no idea what situation this country is in." Nori retorts fiercely, "Even so, there's no need to kill them." Vidare pauses, considering Nori's passionate, naive words. He then suggests Nori will soon understand the country's dire state, hinting at unseen horrors. Vidare commands Igiana imprison the heroes as Nori reacts with a jolt. Igiana, crackling with blue power, warns Ryudo, "Stop the futile resistance." She adds a chilling threat, "If you don't want to face a rough time." Nori grits his teeth, his eyes burning with defiance. He roars, blessing the limit break, light sword, unleashing his power. Nori's hands clasp, channeling a brilliant surge of energy. He lunges, a blinding flash erupting from his light sword attack. Nori stares in disbelief, sweat dripping, as his attack meets an obstacle. Igiana stands resolute, her piercing blue eyes fixed on Nori. She coolly remarks, "Quite a decent strike. Both your judgment and power aren't bad at all." Nori strains, grunting, "UGH," as blue energy crackles around him. A blinding flash erupts as their powers collide violently. Igiana effortlessly deflects Nori's desperate strike with her own blade. The force of their clash shatters the marble floor beneath them. Shards of stone fly as the shockwave tears through the hall. Nala lets out a terrified kya as danger approaches. She desperately throws up a green energy shield against attacking soldiers. Ryudo, seeing the chaos, urgently shouts, "We need to save Ryudo quickly." Nala screams, "No, there are too many soldiers," as Ryudo laments, "Damn it. At least we should have some weapons." Igiana watches the other heroes fend for themselves, a faint, calculating smile on her lips. Nori pants heavily, sweat dripping, as he struggles against Igiana's might. Igiana coolly notes, It seems like Tamaki's side is struggling too. It won't be easy for them to win either. He grits his teeth, pushing back with all his might against the overwhelming blue energy. Their powers collide in a blinding flash of intense blue light. Igiana taunts Inori. What will you do? Even if you keep fighting, you can't defeat me. She presses further. Just give up. After capturing you all. Tears stream down Nala's face, her despair evident. Igiana turns her attention, stating, I have to deal with the second princess. Nori glances aside, a grim understanding dawning in his eyes. He tells Nala, sorry to break the mood, if you stay here, you'll only die. Decide whether you want to run away to live or give up and die here. Nori challenges Nala, asking, will you give up again this time? A poignant memory surfaces. Nala as a child, hand in hand with her older sister. Hands reach, one slipping away as Nala whispers, sister. A single tear escapes Nala's eye, her resolve hardening. Nala defiantly declares, I won't give up. I'll survive for Amanda's sake too. With newfound courage, she proclaims, I won't give anyone the right to decide my death. Nori watches Nala's transformation, a subtle smile playing on his lips. He meets her gaze, confidently stating, then I'll help you escape. Nori addresses her, second princess, no. He corrects himself, a knowing look in his eyes, Alia. Alia meets Nori's gaze, her true name stirring resolve within her. Blue energy erupts as Nori's light sword clashes violently with Igiana's power. The sword, Nori shouts in panic as his weapon starts to fracture. Igiana's eyes gleam with triumph as she coldly states, this is the end. Nori's blessed sword shatters, fragments scattering from his desperate grip. Igiana executes a brutal kick, sending Nori sprawling, utterly defeated. Nori hangs inverted in the air, stunned and powerless before his opponent. Ryudo watches, his face a mask of shock and horror at Nori's swift takedown. As Igiana looms over the fallen Nori, Ryudo cries out his own name, Ryudo. Ryudo's determination ignites. If I don't act, we all die. First, I'll save Ryudo. The marble floor suddenly cracks and splinters from a powerful, unseen impact. Alia desperately shields Aoi as sharp, blue energy fragments rain down. Startled, both girls exclaim, huh? Caught completely off guard by the assault. Igiana seizes the moment of chaos, yelling, now, grab them. Imperial soldiers immediately surge forward to apprehend Alia and Aoi. Alia screams as she's restrained, while Aoi defiantly shouts, get away from Aoi right now. Nori, broken on the ground, can only manage a feint, stop it. Throw all of them into prison, Igiana commands coldly, shackles at the ready. Igiana turns away, her expression stern, believing the heroes are finally subdued. A fleeting thought crosses her mind. Did I spend too much time helping Ryudo? Igiana pants slightly, a bead of sweat on her face. She dismisses her earlier thought. No, it doesn't matter. Whether I'm here or not, the result will still be the same. Igiana believes there's no way she could escape on her own anyway. As Aoi and Alia stand resolute, Aoi quickly assesses the right corridor is no good. We'll take the left corridor. Alia, though surprised, immediately agrees, got it. The two girls sprint down the chosen path, soldiers visible in the distance. Alia marvels to think she can locate other people's positions so easily. It's as if she's been waiting for this day. Aoi turns to Alia, urgently asking, Alia, you can use magic, right? If it's just the basics. Aoi's hand flashes as she prepares something quickly. She warns Alia, what's wrong, Inori? About 10 seconds from now, 3 soldiers will appear around that corner. Aoi, panting, urgently tells Alia, do something about it. Alia looks back, flustered by the sudden pressure. Can't we just avoid them? Alia asks, but Aoi states, that's not an option. Alia gulps, nervously confirming, you said 3, right? With fierce determination, Alia summons crackling blue energy between her hands. Aoi continues her countdown. In 3 seconds, 2. The countdown hits 1, as the shadows of soldiers loom round the corner. Alia thrusts her hands forward, unleashing a powerful airhole spell. 3 Imperial soldiers are blasted as they round the corner, completely surprised. Their swords fly from their grasps, clattering uselessly onto the stone floor. Aoi and Alia peek around the corner, Alia simply saying, oh. At the sight of the downed soldiers, Aoi, slightly sweating, remarks as expected of an elite, taking down 3 at once. Alia, looking back, explains, we got away thanks to casting the spell earlier. I'm glad it worked. She then turns to Aoi, concerned, but you look like you're struggling. Are you okay? Aoi, catching her breath, replies, well, it's tiring, but the enemy won't wait for us. Aoi urgently leads, a little further ahead. There's a spot with less security. Let's get there first. Alia agrees, got it. Elsewhere, Ryudo considers the soldiers might still manage to hold them off. But I can't imagine Arya standing a chance against that captain. Igiana stands resolute among her troops, as Ryudo worries. I'm not in any condition to fight properly either. I must make sure that Captain doesn't find us. Ryudo's eyes narrow with grim realization. That guy is on a whole other level. Back with the girls, Aoi pants heavily, exhaling a relieved phew. As blue energy wisps around her, Aoi observes, security seems thin around here. It looks like no one's in that room. Alia, a bead of sweat on her cheek, questions, no one around? Aoi identifies the area. This should be the servants' quarters as a bloody scene is revealed. Alia gasps, covering her mouth in horror, while Aoi looks on, disturbed. They step into a room littered with the bodies of slain servants. Aoi grimly deduces, I see, no guards because this place is no longer needed. How thorough of them. Alia, her voice trembling, utters a name, Nala. She rushes towards one of the fallen, Aoi watching with concern. Alia gently reaches for a familiar, bloodied face among the deceased. Tears streaming, Alia cradles the lifeless Nala, overcome with grief. Aoi observes the carnage, her expression hardening with resolve. A poignant memory, Nala's cheerful words, I'm happy to see that person smile again. Alia clings to Nala, lost in sorrow, while Aoi stands stoically behind her. Her hand, stained crimson, gently touches Nala's bloodied collar. Alia breaks down, covering her face as sorrow consumes her. She looks up, whispering to herself, Inori, it's okay now, then to Nala. Thank you for waiting for me. Aoi cuts through the somber moment. I was just resting. Now, how do we escape? But their respite is brief. Ryudo, Alia, and Aoi are now locked in a grim prison cell. Igiana's hand glows, sealing the bars. This is the kingdom's most secure prison. Escape is impossible. Her final cold command is delivered, just stay quiet. Aoi, bound in shackles, taunts Igiana, if it's so secure. Then you could at least take off these shackles, right? Ryudo interjects, don't bother, Tamaki, since a coup involving a hero summoning has occurred. The Hero Alliance won't stay quiet. He continues, they're likely buying time by holding us as hostages. That's why they can't afford to have us take off these shackles and kill ourselves, right? Igiana smirks, precisely, Ryudo, for someone so tense, your head's surprisingly clear. Suddenly, Ryudo's eyes blaze red as a dark, ominous aura envelops him. His expression hardens, a single determined eye visible amidst the swirling dark energy. Aoi and Alia recoil in shock, their eyes wide with fear at Ryudo's sudden change. Ryudo's eyes are now a piercing, almost demonic red, radiating intense power. Igiana's gaze sharpens, a flicker of recognition in her eyes. These eyes. I recognize this color. A chilling memory surfaces, Igiana, blood-soaked and victorious, standing over fallen soldiers in the rain, her own eyes glowing with the same crimson light. Igiana's memory surfaces a blood-soaked battlefield. I've seen them before. She recalls the look of those crushed by helplessness and their own naive lack of resolve. Her younger, battle-hardened self, eyes blazing, realized, they're just like I was back then. Back in the present, Igiana's expression is somber, reflecting on her past. Ryudo, still enveloped in his furious aura, glares defiantly from the cell. Igiana turns, advising Ryudo, if you want to survive, don't ever forget those feelings. And keep your judgments cool. As she walks away, Igiana thinks wistfully, if I had managed that back then. Ryudo, filled with regret, mutters, maybe I could have at least saved Tamaki and Aoi. Before a sudden thought strikes him. Igiana exits the prison area, leaving the three captives behind with a stoic guard. Aoi and Alia sit in stunned silence, the weight of their capture sinking in. Ryudo clenches his teeth, questioning, why are you still acting like a mentor? Igiana continues her departure, her heels clicking on the stone floor. She touches the wall, thinking, they still haven't been found. Looks like they've done a better job escaping than I expected. Igiana rallies her troops. Once I finish equipping myself, I'll join the search for the second princess. You all go on ahead. Back in the servants' quarters, Aoi had considered, if we aim for this area, it might work. Her finger, with a red painted nail, had traced a route on a detailed map. Aoi had explained to Ryudo, there's a hidden door that leads to the underground waterways. Alia, surprised, asked, what's there? The image shows a hidden, descending stone staircase as Aoi continued, if we go through there, we should be able to escape outside the castle. The view shifts to an external shot of the castle wall, revealing the discreet exit of the waterway. Ryudo, bloodstains on his collar, mused, is it a path only the royal family knows about? It's worth a try then. Alia, in flashback, confirms the royal escape route, adding, honestly, I'm not sure if it's still usable. Ryudo flashback pragmatically replies, well, since we don't have other options, that settles it. Alia flashback looks down, filled with sorrow, whispering, I'm sorry for being powerless. The flashback lingers on Nala's still, blood-stained face. Alia flashback thanks Nala, then turns with Ryudo, resolved to escape. Elsewhere in the castle, the guards are seen conversing intently. Ryudo flashback considers Aoi's plan, a path only the royal family knows about. Then it might be worth checking out. He flashback affirms its nature, it should be. It's an emergency escape route meant for the royal family. The flashback shows Ryudo and Alia finally making their move, sprinting down a corridor. Ominously, one guard echoes, honestly, I don't even know if it's still usable. While the other concludes, well, we don't have any other options. Flashback, Ryudo expresses his regret. I'm sorry for not being able to do anything. He takes Alia's hand, a somber thank you for everything until now. Their escape attempt hits a wall. Ryudo exclaims ambushed as Alia freezes. A wall of soldiers confronts them, making a breakthrough nearly impossible. Ryudo confirms they're trapped. Soldiers closing in behind, retreating is equally difficult. Heavy armored boots advance, the guards swarming their position. Alia desperately whispers, isn't there a way to sneak past them? Ryudo's reply is stark and immediate. It's impossible. He reveals their plan was compromised. They knew about the hidden door. Now, completely locked down. Alia's hope shatters, her face etched with the pain of their capture. Ryudo flashback realizes their captors are ruthless, making escape incredibly difficult. He briefly wonders if fleeing alone is possible, but his gaze fixes on Alia. Alia, head bowed but voice firm, whispers, I won't give up. She fiercely declares, bloodstains on her dress, I won't just sit here and be killed. I'll fight to the end. A close-up reveals the unwavering determination shining in Alia's bright blue eyes. Ryudo, his heterochromatic eyes fixed on her, observes her newfound resolve. A slight smirk plays on Ryudo's lips as he thinks, her spirit isn't broken. I can still rely on her. Alia then reveals a critical piece of information. I use detection. A neighboring kingdom's army is heading this way. An army? Ryudo exclaims, as Alia confirms foreign soldiers are indeed approaching. Alia urgently presses, her eyes wide with a mix of hope and fear. When will they arrive? Alia estimates the allied army will arrive probably around sunset. She calculates in about 15 minutes if we can hold out, we might survive. But we won't be able to avoid combat. Alia, with steely resolve, simply states, understood. Ryudo grimly considers their chances. Will we last until sunset? It's 50-50 at best. Ryudo takes charge. Then we'll head where there are fewer soldiers. Cover the rear. As Alia affirms. Suddenly, a nearby guard spots their desperate dash. The second princess has been found. A soldier bellows, ordering others to gather around. A commander roars the order, fire magic arrows. A volley of glowing purple magic arrows streaks towards them. Alia gasps, a faint green aura flaring as the attack closes in. Alia fiercely summons barrier magic, as purple energy swirls around her. She screams, 15 minutes, Inori, I will survive no matter what. A magic arrow grazes her shoulder, blood splattering as she endures the pain. Ryudo urgently shouts, turn right, guiding their desperate flight. He yanks Alia into a doorway, narrowly evading an explosive impact. The purple magic arrow detonates violently against the wall they just cleared. A furious commander orders his troops, don't let them escape, surround them. Ryudo, surprised, notes internally, they're moving faster than I thought. Alia spots more soldiers, yelling, soldiers are coming from the left passage, can't we block them? With blood on her cheek, Alia resolutely responds, the lefty understood. Ryudo glances back as a shimmering green barrier erupts, stunning the advancing soldiers. A magical barrier. One soldier exclaims while their commander yells, don't falter. Break through it. The green barrier shatters violently as Alia and Ryudo continue their desperate escape. Ryudo, a bead of sweat on his temple, smirks slightly. Somehow, we avoided getting pincered. Alia, blood streaking her cheek, gasps for breath, the chase taking its toll. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Running down a stone corridor, Alia thinks, just a little longer until sunset. Alia's eyes widen in horror as she cries out, a dead end. Ryudo apologizes, explaining their lack of options, then urges, 3 more minutes until sunset. Hold on. They're here. Alia shouts, as an unseen enemy bellows, fire the arrows. Soldiers unleash a barrage of glowing purple magic arrows. Alia screams, step back, as she and Ryudo brace for the incoming magical onslaught. One soldier hesitates to charge, warned that their comrades have already fallen. The commander dismisses caution, roaring, just keep attacking with the bows. Alia, panting, realizes more arrows are coming, her own magic nearly depleted. With bloodied resolve, Alia focuses on deflecting fatal shots as the order to fire echoes. A deadly rain of purple energy shafts descends upon their desperate position. The magic arrows detonate in a violent, screen-filling purple explosion. Undeterred, the enemy commander bellows, ready the next volley. Alia, battered and bleeding, struggles to conjure another defense, her barrier magic shattering around her. Alia, bloodied and weary, glares defiantly, green magic faintly glowing around her. She desperately maintains her circular green barrier against a relentless barrage of purple arrows. As explosions rock her shield, Alia clings to the thought, help will arrive soon. She glances aside, her resolve hardening. That's right, isn't it, Inori? The enemy commander smirks. All right, no counterattack. At this rate, we'll slowly. Suddenly, the commander exclaims, noticing Alia alone. One of them has disappeared. Alia, now truly alone, looks around in bewildered distress for her missing companion. A strange black puddle ripples on the ground as Alia calls out, Inori? Inori? Panic sets in as Alia, surrounded by devastation, screams, Where are you, Inori? A horrifying thought crosses her mind. Did he use me as bait and escape? But he promised. Alia's bloodied eye widens. Was the story about reinforcements just to make me fight? Collapsed and defeated, she whispers in despair. Was it all a lie? The enemy commander barks, stay alert while loading the next volley, we'll finish them off. Tears mix with blood on Alia's face as utter hopelessness washes over her. The last sliver of sun vanishes, plunging the horizon into twilight as dark tendrils begin to appear. A sinister grin emerges from the shadows. Sorry to keep you waiting. Dark, ominous energy swirls around Alia as a voice declares, from here on, it's my time. The strange black energy intensifies, completely enveloping the desolate scene. An enemy commander exclaims. Suddenly, it's dark, as shadows creep in. He shouts in panic, I can't see anything like this. Turn on the lights as darkness consumes all. Ominous purple outline shadows spread rapidly across the darkened ceiling. Soldiers stumble in the pitch black, shouting for lights as panic erupts. A shadowy figure with glowing eyes commands, my loyal servant, Fenrir, take care of them. A monstrous shadow beast, wreathed in ethereal blue flames, howls its affirmation. Two soldiers stare in bewildered terror as the shadowy entity materializes before them. The beast strikes with vicious speed, its shadowy claws tearing through a soldier. Another soldier is violently mauled, dark energy swirling around the brutal attack. A soldier's desperate attempt to rally an attack turns into a scream of pure horror. Surrounded by fallen comrades, the commander frantically demands a report on the chaos. A dark, gloved hand reaches down towards the blood-stained floor, an ominous presence. A lone soldier peers into a corridor, now a pitch-black abyss stained with blood. His eyes widen in terror, fixed on Alia, collapsed and bloodied on the floor. Alia, barely conscious, wonders amidst the carnage what exactly is happening. A dark figure, Inori, looms over her, mockingly calling for a head count. The soldier screams for help, but Inori chillingly states no one will answer. Pure shock contorts the soldier's face as he processes Inori's words. He finally recognizes the figure, exclaiming, Takafudji Inori, where did you come from? Inori, wreathed in dark energy, calmly asks his unseen servant, is it over, Fenrir? The terrified soldier glances around, surrounded by eerie, glowing blue eyes in the darkness. The monstrous Fenrir materializes, declaring only the soldier remains. As Inori acknowledges its power, the last soldier cries out as he's violently struck down. Inori watches impassively as the soldier's desperate pleas for help echo. Another figure, likely the commander, is impaled as Inori questions his past deeds. Inori delivers a chilling judgment, then it's only fair for you to be killed in return. The lone soldier, witnessing the carnage, trembles in absolute terror. Inori, eyes glowing with malevolent power, stands amidst swirling darkness under a blood-red moon. The soldier stammers, are you really Takafudji Inori? To which Inori cryptically replies, who knows? Fenrir's monstrous, shadowy jaws begin to close around the terrified soldier. With a visceral impact, the beast's attack concludes in a spray of red. The aftermath shows deep indentations in a stone wall, evidence of a brutal impact. Alia lies face down, defeated in a spreading pool of her own blood. Barely conscious, she weakly utters Inori's name. Inori observes her, using the last of your magic to stop the bleeding, huh? He coldly states, a good choice, but you've lost too much blood. It's too late now. Inori stands impassively over Alia, dark tendrils still swirling around her. Alia, glaring weakly, questions from the start, that power. Inori, looking away, tells her, don't glare at me like that. He reveals, this power can only be used after sunset. Inori explains the reinforcement story was a lie to stall until his power activated. As Alia groans, he mockingly asks, well, it gave you some hope, didn't it? Inori gazes thoughtfully, a plan forming in his mind. He recalls Alia's fierce eyes, a memory of her unwavering spirit. Even then, she declared, no one will dictate even the manner of my death. Her eyes filled with conviction. Inori muses, even now, she hasn't given up. Let's see what happens. He cuts to the chase. I'll be blunt since we're short on time. Looking at the bloodied Alia, he asks a startling question. You're a virgin, aren't you? Leaving her stunned. Inori then reveals, if so, there's a way for you to survive. He lays out his condition, but for that, you'll have to become my subordinate, essentially a servant. Inori's eye glows as he presents a grim ultimatum: accept death as a human, or live on as something else. He reiterates, the choice is yours: accept death, or survive as something other than human. Alia, bloodied, whispers, as a human to protect. Her voice barely audible, she continues, I want to. A memory surfaces, a smiling Alia beside a cherished companion. Tears in her eyes, she resolves, no matter what I have to do, even sell my soul to a demon. Looking up at Inori, she cries out, I want to live. Inori's lips curl into a feigned smirk. Good answer. He leans down, his shadow falling over the weakened Alia. Inori reveals his sharp teeth. Well, just as you said, I'm probably closer to a demon. His fangs sink into her neck. Her eyes wide in a silent scream. Alia is enveloped in swirling crimson energy, her form suspended in a dark, transformative void. Alia, now cloaked, is addressed by Inori as part of his new legion. Inori commands his shadowy beast to turn corpses into ghouls and attack soldiers outside. He then orders them to protect the unconscious Alia until she awakens. Alia rests, her face peaceful under the hood, a small scar now visible. Inori smirks, cryptically stating, while we're at it, might as well have some fun. The scene shifts to a stern, goateed man, his face shadowed with authority. Soldiers report to the newly crowned King Baitre that the second princess is cornered. King Baitre declares the dawn of a righteous nation, urging his men not to falter. The king closes his eyes, a look of grim determination on his face. A stark image reveals the suffering of abandoned orphans, ravaged by hunger and sickness. King Baitre reflects with sorrow. It's the same. He recalls his past inaction, admitting, I'm equally guilty for doing nothing. Now, King Baitre's expression hardens with resolve, fueled by past regrets. He remembers the arduous path, surrounded by comrades amidst fallen foes. It's been a long journey. A younger, idealistic figure vows with comrades, let's restore this country to its rightful form. Suddenly, a shadowy figure with a glowing eye and a dark dagger appears beside King Baitre's throne. King Baitre's eyes widen in horror as blood splatters, a swift attack launched. The assailant is Inori, his eyes glowing malevolently, blood staining his cheek. Nearby guards are frozen in disbelief, exclaiming in shock. King Baitre, wounded, stares in stunned silence at his attacker. Elsewhere, a blonde knight senses a sudden, sharp disturbance. Her blue eyes narrow as she questions the unsettling feeling washing over her. Back in the throne room, King Baitre is brutally struck down, blood erupting from a fatal wound. Inori stands victorious, holding the king's severed head. As a guard realizes their entire plan has crumbled, Inori taunts the remaining guards, asking what they'll do now that their leader is gone. Fueled by rage, the guards scream for vengeance, vowing to kill Inori. A malevolent glint appears in Inori's glowing red eye, a feigned smirk playing on his lips. Dark daggers materialize around Inori as he relishes their defiant cries. The floor is littered with fallen soldiers as Inori remarks on the extent of the bloodshed. A lone, wounded guard slumps against a blood-soaked wall as Inori considers his next move. Inori unleashes a volley of shadowy daggers. A guard cries out, pierced by a dark blade. Inori smirks, if you resist until the end, it'll make me very happy. More dark projectiles fly, a relentless assault. Another soldier falls, skewered by Inori's magic. His chilling words echo Inori's delight in their futile struggle. The sound of a desperate scream echoes from the throne room. Elsewhere, the blonde knight gasps, did you hear that just now? Her companion confirms, yes, it sounded like someone screaming. It's coming from the direction of the venue. Let's hurry, she urges, dashing forward. A female knight burst into the throne room, her eyes wide with shock. Dark, viscous tendrils and ominous shadows fill the horrifying scene before her. Inori stands amidst the carnage, the defeated king slumped on his throne. Inori turns, his glowing eyes fixing on the newcomers. You are, if I recall. He identifies them coolly, the female warriors directly under Commander Egaziana's command. The Valkyria squad. Was that correct? The lead Valkyria glares, demanding, Takafudji Inori, was all of this your doing? Inori smirks, his gaze unwavering. If I answer that question. He gestures to the grim display of fallen soldiers. Will you fight me seriously? The Valkyria leader grits her teeth, her expression hardening with rage. Another Valkyria recoils in horror, the sheer brutality of the scene overwhelming her. The Valkyria leader clenches her jaw, tears of fury and grief streaming down her face. Elf, a comrade, cries, as the red-haired Valkyria recklessly charges Inori, sword first. Elf's blade sinks deep into Inori's chest, drawing blood as he coughs. Tears mix with shock on Elf's face as she witnesses the immediate aftermath. Inori glances down, a single cold "oh" escaping his lips. He taunts the impaled elf, showing your emotions so openly. Could it be that someone you like died? With Elf pierced by his dark power, Inori mockingly asks if that's the case. I've done something bad, haven't I? The Valkyria commander watches in horror, stammering, a mutual strike. No, Inori stands defiant, Elf's sword still embedded, his heterochromatic eyes glowing with sinister power. The commander roars, Miranda, Alice, get ready, bracing for the inevitable. The commander rallies Miranda and Alice. That person is dangerous. We will eliminate them. Inori, Elf's sword still in him, wonders how they've endured so far. A Valkyrie's spear crackles with golden, lightning-like energy. The commander focuses. If I aim for a vital point, Inori's eye glows red as he activates appraisal. Golden lightning envelops the commander as she prepares her strike. Inori notes her unique magic tool, his red eye showing surprise. Suddenly, a blue crystalline attack slams into Inori's side. The source is a brightly glowing blue orb held by another Valkyria. Alice, breathing green energy, shouts, I've caught them, leave it to me. Inori reels, shocked as the crystalline magic slams into his already wounded side. His glowing red eye analyzes, is this asterisk also asterisk a magic tool? Its activation speed and power are on a completely different level. Just then, the commander's lightning-charged spear lunges for Inori. The spear tears through Inori's cheek, blood erupting from the fresh wound. The commander grunts, feeling the force of her strike connect. With this, surely, she thinks, hoping her attack was decisive. Inori, bloodied but smirking, admits, magic tools, they're far more troublesome than I thought. Suddenly, Inori shatters the blue crystalline restraint on his leg with a burst of dark power. He leaps high into the air, dark tendrils swirling, evading their grasp. The commander stares in disbelief. Are he still able to move? The commander anticipates, he's dodging, but I'll strike the moment he lands. Suddenly, purple tendrils erupt, ensnaring the commander as she cries out. Her eyes widen in shock, caught completely off guard by the shadowy restraints. Miranda and Alice are also bound, struggling as the commander calls their names in dismay. Inori smirks. I'd love to enjoy this, but I'm on a tight schedule. He then proposes, if you'd like, Deputy Commander, I prefer a one-on-one duel. As a warm-up before I take on your Commander Egaziana, Inori declares, eyes gleaming. The commander scoffs. To think you plan to face Commander Egaziana, you're quite reckless. Inori's red eye glows intensely, a complex sigil flaring within it. You're the most skilled here, Inori observes. Fighting alone should let you show your full potential. Inori questions her. So why do you stick to a group? The commander grits her teeth, rendered momentarily speechless by his audacity. Silence, Inori roars, his glowing eyes inches from her face as he snaps his fingers. She explodes. Don't speak as if you know anything about me, her spear flaring. With a sharp clang, Inori effortlessly parries her lightning-infused spear. Dark power envelops his hand as he shatters her weapon, its remnants sinking into shadow. He forms a dark blade, clashing fiercely with the now disarmed commander. Blood sprays as his attack grazes her neck. Inori acknowledges, you have talent. A flashback shows a younger Maria being introduced by Egaziana as Inori's voice tempts. Why don't you come with me? The memory shifts to Maria with her Valkyria comrades, their faces set with determination. The flashback shows Maria, her expression pensive as she recalls the past. Her memory shifts to her Valkyria sisters warmly inviting her, Alice introducing herself. A younger Maria looks on, a faint blush on her cheeks, touched by their acceptance. Back in the present, Maria roars, how dare you insult my comrades? I won't forgive you. Inori grins, acknowledging, that's some fine fighting spirit. Maria charges, her sword gleaming, yelling, keep it up, bring it on. Good, Inori's eyes glow. Fight with me even more. Maria lunges, unaware of Inori already behind her, dark blade poised. Inori's red eye gleams with malice, a predatory grin spreading across his face. Their blades meet with a sharp clang, sparks flying from the impact. Maria, still bound, desperately urges her fallen comrades, now, both of you stand up. We'll avenge Elf. Her eyes burn with resolve, blood trickling down her face as she thinks, I am not alone. A warm memory surfaces, Maria with her smiling Valkyria sisters, her true home. Suddenly, a horrifying growl erupts as a ghastly Alice, eyes glowing red, lunges from behind Maria. Maria turns in disbelief, Elise? As her corrupted friend sinks teeth into her shoulder. From the other side, a similarly transformed Miranda attacks, biting deep as Maria cries her name. Inori's shadowy wolf form appears, coldly stating, unfortunately, those people have been turned into ghouls. Inori stands beside a zombified elf, remarking, "Our fight was truly enjoyable." As Maria stares in horror. "Though, if I were greedy," Inori muses, "I would have liked you to warm up with me longer. But it can't be helped." He turns away with a dismissive wave. "The four of you can do whatever you like now," leaving Maria to her fate. Maria stares in utter horror, a dark hand gently touching her chin. An anguished scream tears from Maria's throat as her former comrades attack. Blood erupts as the ghoulish figures tear into their helpless victim. Inori watches the brutal scene unfold, his mismatched eyes glowing ominously. "Now then," Inori murmurs, a chilling smirk playing on his lips. Under the pale moonlight, he declares, "Time for the final touch." One of the corrupted Valkyries lets out a monstrous, blood-curdling shriek. Elsewhere, Commander Egaziana sprints urgently through a grand hall. Inori, blood dripping from his faint smile, holds a blade to his own throat. A shadowy wolf behind him. "I had a bad feeling," Egaziana thinks, a sense of dread washing over her. Blood splatters the grand hall, staining even the empty golden thrones. Commander Egaziana's eyes widen in horrified realization. "My intuition in times like this," she thinks, sprinting past a gruesome discovery. She looks up, a cold sweat breaking as unspoken fears grip her. Before her lies another victim, covered and still amidst spreading crimson. Her gloved hand trembles, reaching towards the tragic sight. Egaziana kneels, gently holding the shrouded head of a fallen Valkyria. "Tends to be accurate," she seethes, "Lord Bydre." Against the full moon, the dark, winged silhouette emerges ominously. A voice echoes as Egaziana glares. "The moon is beautiful, isn't it?" Inori, dark wings unfurled, tells Egaziana, "That's a famous confession line in my world." Egaziana stares in disbelief, her voice trembling. "Inori, is that you?" His mismatched eyes gleam, fangs bared in a chilling, knowing smile. Inori's voice continues, cold and cruel. "That head is my gift to you." Egaziana's expression hardens, fury replacing her shock at his horrific words. Beneath the full moon, Inori repeats his monstrous offering with a smirk. Her bloody glove gently cradles the fallen Valkyrie's head, a grim testament to his cruelty. Egaziana glares at Inori, demanding, "Those wings, they must belong to a demon, right?" Inori stands bathed in moonlight, his demonic wings a stark silhouette. "They're a mark of selling your soul for power," Egaziana roars. "What are you living for?" Inori looks back, a question mark appearing above his head, seemingly puzzled by her outburst. "I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say," he replies. "I'm just living. That's all there is to it." Egaziana roars back in defiance, "Just living is too weak a reason." With her hand over her heart, she declares, "I fight for the nation." She looks up fiercely. "In this world, a strong reason to live is necessary." Her fist clenches as she insists, "Even for family, for your own desires. Even for revenge, it doesn't matter." A look of profound regret crosses her face. "If I had properly taught you that, you wouldn't have turned into a demon." Egaziana stands solemnly, her voice heavy. "I'm sorry, Inori." Inori covers his face, a pained or exasperated expression twisting his features. His dark, demonic wing unfurls slightly, pulsing with shadowy energy. Inori scoffs. "What a noble sermon," as shadowy energy swirls around him. "You're still treating me as your student," he says, red eye glinting. "But the coup has failed." Egaziana challenges him. "Are you still in a position to talk about the nation?" Inori's glowing eye narrows. "Even without Lord Bydre, we still." Her eyes widen in shock as Inori addresses her. "Commander Egaziana." Suddenly, shadowy wolves with menacing red eyes materialize behind armored soldiers. The demonic wolves savagely tear into the soldiers, splattering blood. Surrounded by his wolves, Inori declares, "It's no longer a matter of we or us." Egaziana collapses, bloodied and gasping, her eyes wide with utter disbelief. As a wolf looms over a fallen soldier, Inori's voice echoes, "The soldiers who cornered us. The ones who massacred the people inside." Inori reveals, the Valkyria squad and the rest of the Valkyria unit were the ones behind it all. He coldly informs Egaziana, "None of them are left, except for you, that is." Inori grabs a fallen Valkyria, stating, "Right now, they've been neutralized. But their lives can be spared. If you're willing to sacrifice yourself," he proposes, pinning the Valkyria down. Inori sighs, "I thought I'd get to fight a strong opponent, but this feels more like a practice match." He then considers, if they surrender now, should I use mental interference to force them to fight? His hands clench, shadowy energy crackling around them, a red glint in the darkness. Inori looks away, utterly bored. "None of this is interesting." Egaziana declares, "I've made up my mind. Let's settle this with Bydre and your life alone." Her gloved hand tightens its grip on her sword, ready for the confrontation. Egaziana raises her sword high, preparing a decisive strike. Inori, puzzled, questions her. "What are you doing?" Her face is grim, eyes shadowed with resolve as she looks downward. She plunges her sword into the earth, erupting a shockwave of blue energy. The blade stands firm, embedded deep within the fractured ground. Inori observes, a moment of silence. This is a prayer. Egaziana, eyes closed, vows for my comrades who suffered humiliation and were killed. As her sword begins to glow red, her eyes flash open, now crimson, and for the comrades who are about to die. As the red energy intensifies, a fierce close-up reveals Egaziana's blazing red eyes, her sword radiating immense power. Inori watches her solemn ritual, a subtle, knowing expression on his face. Egaziana's sword blazes with crimson energy as she repeats her vow for comrades about to perish. Her eyes flare red as she declares to Inori, I shall offer your life in their place. Inori listens, his yellow eye focused, a shadow cast across his thoughtful expression. He questions her, in other words, are you saying you're going to abandon your knights? Abandon them? Egaziana scoffs, the Knight Corps is a unit I've devoted my life to training. She declares fiercely, her red eyes burning, with my own hands, I'll kill them all. Inori appears genuinely surprised by her brutal resolve, his mismatched eyes wide. He points out the consequence, if you do that, the country will collapse, don't you think? Egaziana retorts, standing amidst the red aura, the people are still here. She dismisses these concerns, blood on her cheek. Those are minor details. Egaziana fiercely proclaims, as long as the people remain, I will fight for the nation. Enveloped in a blazing red aura, she declares, that is my reason for living. Inori listens, a subtle, almost pleased smile forming on his lips. His smile widens, a hint of something predatory in his expression. Inori's face contorts into a wide, fang grin, his mismatched eyes gleaming with excitement. Egaziana, observing his reaction, asks, what's this? You seem rather pleased. Inori covers his mouth, forgive me, Commander. I underestimated you. I apologize for my past disrespect. His demonic wings subtly visible, he concedes, lying or bluffing here would indeed be out of place. Dark energy crackles around Inori's hands as he vows, so I'll answer honestly as well. Nearby soldiers scream in terror, their faces etched with pure horror. Egaziana states grimly, these are failed corpses, not true vampires, they can't be saved. Inori, flanked by his demonic host, coldly declares, I killed all of your comrades. His hand crackles with dark energy as he continues, now you're nothing more than food for them. Inori finishes, as shadowy figures close in on Egaziana. Egaziana, her gaze fixed and burning, utters his full name, Takafudji Inori. You are beyond redemption, she seethes, while Inori smirks, dark energy swirling around him. Her sword hilt suddenly erupts in a blinding flash of crimson light. Egaziana stands firm, her blade a radiant beacon against the shadowy figures. You are my enemy, she proclaims, unleashing a powerful shockwave of red energy. Inori flinches, his mismatched eyes wide with genuine shock at her sudden surge. Egaziana's crimson shockwave obliterates the shadowy figures, forcing Inori back. Inori recoils, realizing, this is far more dangerous than I imagined. That's her trump card. Her ancient weapon artifact glows intensely, Egaziana's eyes blazing with power. Inori notes the instant annihilation of his ghouls. Even as a wall, they were no match. A close-up reveals Egaziana's eye, a burning inferno of red determination. Inori's smirk widens, yes, this is the challenge I've craved. Egaziana stands unwavering, her profile bathed in the fierce red glow of her power. Inori, demonic wings unfurled and shadowy beast at his side, addresses her with new respect. Egaziana. He bares his fangs, dark energy swirling. I'll use everything to fight you as your true enemy. Inori stands with his demonic host, fully acknowledging her as a worthy adversary, Egaziana. Inori bares his fangs, declaring he'll use everything as her true enemy. Egaziana stands resolute, her crimson aura flaring in response. A ghoulish hand groans, reaching for Egaziana's boot from the fractured earth. Her sword pulses, unleashing another devastating wave of crimson energy. Inori taunts her. Your former comrades are still here. How long can you last? Egaziana confronts the twisted forms of her knights, now monstrous figures. Her corrupted knights, eyes blazing red, charged with terrifying snarls. Egaziana's expression hardens, lightning flickering in her determined gaze. A fleeting memory surfaces, her knights, smiling and vibrant, before their fall. She unleashes a colossal pillar of red light, a desperate, powerful strike. Her crimson pillar of light erupts, tearing through the battlefield. Egaziana swings her blade, a torrent of red energy meeting a shadowy beast. She stands resolute, her slashes carving through the encroaching darkness. Bloodied but unbowed, Egaziana taunts Inori, are you just going to watch? Surrounded by fallen ghouls, she declares, if you won't come, I'll make the first move. Inori inwardly notes her consistent power, realizing close combat is too risky. A flashback begins. A woman at a chalkboard is asked about Egaziana's strength. She explains Egaziana's power surged after receiving an ancient weapon from the queen. The woman reveals the weapon is a sword that amplifies magic, becoming incredibly sharp. Back in the present, a corrupted knight's helmet is cleaved by Egaziana's empowered strike. Crimson energy trails as her sword effortlessly slices through multiple corrupted knights. In response, a hail of shadowy, blade-like projectiles streaks towards her. Egaziana stands amidst the dark barrage, her crimson aura deflecting the incoming threats. The dark magic-infused blades shatter harmlessly against her radiant defense. Inori grins. Even a knife enhanced with dark magic gets shattered. Become sharper is an understatement, don't you think? Her sword glows intensely, crimson lightning crackling along its powerful blade. He realizes with a predatory smile, it's a sword that can truly cut through anything. Egaziana channels raw power into her fist, thinking, skipping magic circles. She unleashes a concussive double blast, air hammer. Inori recoils, his mismatched eyes wide with utter shock. What? Inori reels from the unexpected magic, his demonic wing cracking as he shouts. She suddenly fired off magic. Egaziana glares. With this, you shouldn't be able to fly anymore. So, what will you do next? Grunting, Inori uses daggers to scale a wall, desperately thinking she'll close the distance. In that case, a colossal crimson energy wave from Egaziana's sword slices across the battlefield towards Inori. Inori, hit or dodging, thinks, I'll change trajectory here and catch her off guard. He lunges from the wall, shouting strike, as he descends upon a surprised Egaziana. Inori grins, upside down and mid-attack, yelling triumphantly, gotcha. A close-up shows Inori's predatory, blood-splattered face, fangs bared and eyes gleaming. His hand tightens on his dagger, a sudden, indicating his attack met unexpected resistance. Egaziana stands resolute as a comically small Inori zips away in the background, clearly thwarted. Inori, clutching his bloody dagger, admits with a smirk, I thought I did pretty well, but he watches Egaziana, realizing there really isn't a single blind spot, is there? Egaziana, eyes glinting, taunts back, you're pretty agile yourself. Why not try becoming an acrobat? Inori grins, dismissing her suggestion, sorry, but that's not my thing. He then understands, so the speed of her magic earlier was because of the sword. As its properties are revealed, a bead of sweat forms as Inori considers, mithril weapons are effective against demons. Aren't they? Egaziana confirms coolly, exactly right, then asks, did you hear that from the second princess? You're surprisingly diligent. Inori, slightly flustered, manages a, well, thanks for noticing. Suddenly, a shadowy hand, seemingly Inori's, reaches for Egaziana's ankle from below. Inori lunges low, his dark core-infused dagger aimed at Egaziana's leg. Egaziana's crimson aura erupts, deflecting Inori's low strike with a powerful counter. Inori's mismatched eyes widen in disbelief, a bead of sweat tracing his cheek as his attack fails. Fragments of his dark-infused dagger lie shattered on the ground as Egaziana begins to speak. She taunts him, her crimson eyes blazing. You seem to have plenty of flashy techniques. What's next?